Our poor MC is facing the worst fear of any teenage boy, being talked into a breakup by their girlfriends. Magical world or the real world, the rejection thing is common. The fierce lady is belittling the poor guy, Hei Shin, with as many harsh words as she can. But there is something she hasn't figured out in their 3 months of relationship. This guy is the definition of unhinged. He doesn't even care about the breakup. Instead, he worries about the things he has given her during their relationship, so he asks for them to be returned. The girl refuses and leaves, although she shouldn't have, because she just dumped the world's best cultivator. Later that day, Hei finds himself being sacrificed to Lord Shenlong. He continues to act like the Instagram comment section until his very last moment. However, as soon as his legs are bitten off, his bloodline forbidden technique gets activated, and all is hell after this. Let's jump into the story. Inside a tall office building, a man sits in a meeting room across from a woman. Outside the room, several staff members watch. One of them, a pink-haired woman, feels curious about who the visitor is. A black-haired coworker explains that the woman is Xiao Hei's girlfriend and that she has come to break up with him. The pink-haired staff member is shocked that someone would do that in the office and says the woman is very bold. Inside the room, the woman coldly tells Xiao Hei that she can no longer stay with a useless man like him. When he asks why, she says his weak and pitiful state disgusts her. Her words leave him speechless. She continues, saying she only stays with him in the beginning because she thinks he has potential as a cultivator. Even though he fails to enter a good cultivation academy, she believes his family background might still help her. But after spending so much time with him, she sees that his bloodline is useless. She blames him for wasting 3 months of her youth and ruining her chances with better men. Xiao Hei quietly reminds her that he has given her all his savings, including spiritual stones and energy items. Hearing this makes her even angrier. She says those items are worthless and cannot compare to the earring given to her by Lai Xiao, which has strong spiritual power and even enhances beauty. Outside, the pink-haired staff member slams her mouse in anger. The black-haired coworker tells her to calm down, reminding her that their team has not yet met their targets. Inside, Xiao Hei calmly asks for his things back. The woman explodes with rage, curses him to die miserably, and storms out. As she leaves, he says she can mail the items back if it is inconvenient. She shouts that she will throw them into the river instead. He casually asks which river, saying it would be a waste otherwise. The pink-haired woman finds him interesting, but the black-haired one warns her to stop staring. Just then, the department manager appears and asks what she is doing. Later that day, Xiao Hei sits alone on the rooftop. A man named Zhang Jiqian approaches and asks if he has eaten. He offers him a drink. Xiao Hei finds it strange because Jiqian is usually cold toward him. After drinking, he becomes drunk and shouts about how his ex uses him. He feels relieved after yelling. He then realizes something is wrong. The drink has been spiked. When he looks up, he sees Jiqian smiling darkly. He suddenly loses consciousness. When he wakes up, his head feels heavy, and he realizes he is chained near the edge of a cliff. Someone notices that he is awake. It is Jiqian. He asks if there is some kind of mistake. But Jiqian is about to explain when he is interrupted. He jokes that he is not interested in strange hobbies like being tied up. This angers Jiqian, who punches him hard. Seeing that he still looks calm, Jiqian tells him to look down. When he does, he sees glowing eyes staring up from the darkness. A massive dragon slowly appears from below. Jiqian proudly presents him as a sacrifice to the divine dragon, saying that although he has not awakened his powers, his body still carries an ancient bloodline, making him far more valuable than ordinary sacrifices. The dragon accepts this offering. In return, it gives Jiqian a powerful pill that will help his cultivation. Jiqian is thrilled and leaves to focus on becoming stronger. The dragon then asks if he has any final words. He insults the dragon, saying its breath smells terrible and that it should brush its teeth. Enraged, the dragon boasts about being a mighty ruler of the heavens, a master of storms who has lived for countless years. Realizing it loses control, it decides to punish him slowly instead of killing him instantly. It bites into him, tearing part of his body. He screams in pain but endures it. As this happens, a strange mark appears on him. A forbidden bloodline technique awakens. The first power links his life and death with the dragons, making them share pain. The second power ensures that if one dies, the other dies too, unless a miracle happens. Suddenly, he wakes up in a classroom. A teacher calls his name, asking why he is talking nonsense. The teacher thinks he has taken too many body-strengthening pills. His classmates laugh at him. In another room, a female teacher speaks to Professor Yin about the new student. She believes he must be talented to be accepted. Professor Yin admits he only accepts him for money and expects him to fail soon. The class continues laughing at him, but he stays calm. He wonders what kind of power the heavens have truly given him. Hei sits quietly in the classroom, lost in his thoughts. After being killed by the dragon, he strangely wakes up in his own bed, and the spiritual root that has been asleep inside him for 20 years finally awakens. His ex-girlfriend's words echo in his mind, reminding him that he is the last descendant of a fallen cultivation family. Suddenly, someone steps hard on his desk. It is a senior student who wants to show his power. The man speaks arrogantly and tells Hei that if he wants to stay in the class safely, he has to give him 1 bottle of body-tempering pills, 1 bottle of yuan-nourishing pills, and 1 dose of foundation-stabilizing potion every week. The students around them watch with interest, as this kind of bullying is common. The man says his name is Zhang Jibai and claims that this classroom is his territory. He even says he prefers jumping off desks instead of using the stairs because he is stronger than everyone else. He warns Hei that if he doesn't deliver the items by the end of the day, he will tie him to the school's front lamp post and humiliate him in public. As he steps toward the window to leave, Hei suddenly moves and kicks his leg. Jibai loses balance and falls face first out of the window. The class gasps. Everyone stares in shock, unable to believe what they see. Still, they aren't too worried, since Jibai practices a powerful body refinement technique and is known for his toughness. Some students even think he will be fine. After a moment, Jibai stands up angrily and shouts that he will break Hei's legs. A green-haired student warns Hei that he is in serious trouble. He explains that Jibai comes from a powerful cultivation family and is famous for beating others badly. He says that anyone who offends him usually ends up crippled or worse. He advises Hei to run and hide, especially avoiding Chin Garden Alley, where Jibai and his group often wait for victims. As evening comes, Hei walks toward that very alley. There, he sees 3 men standing together. One of them asks if it is really necessary for all of them to deal with a single transfer student. Another replies that although Jibai could handle it alone, it is beneath him to act personally, so they will deal with it instead. Jibai believes the little brat must be shaking in fear, trying to find a way to avoid the alley. In his mind, there is no escape anyway because he has people watching every path. One of his bald followers praises him for planning everything so well. Just then, Hei appears and calmly asks who said he is going to hide. The bald man turns around in shock when he sees him walking straight toward them. None of them expect him to show up on his own. They think he will be too scared and will try to run. Jibai looks closely at him, surprised that he shows no fear at all. He begins to wonder if this boy is pretending to be weak and hiding his real strength. Hei mocks them for being cowards who don't even dare confront someone openly and instead choose a quiet alley to ambush him. He complains that it takes effort to walk all the way there and tells them to hurry up. One of the lackeys gets angry and kicks him hard, sending him flying into a wall and leaving a deep mark. Everyone is shocked at how weak he seems. Jibai laughs, thinking he has overestimated him. He says that kick comes from the 5th level of body refinement and that Hei's internal organs must already be damaged. Hei struggles to his feet, blood on his face, but calmly says it doesn't hurt and that the kick feels weak, like it comes from someone with no strength. This angers the lackey completely. He attacks again with full force, determined to kill him. Suddenly, there is a loud crack. The man screams as his leg is torn off, and he collapses, bleeding heavily. Jibai and the others stare in horror as the leg flies through the air. Hei laughs at the man for losing his leg so easily. At that moment, a woman appears in front of Hei without warning. Jibai is shocked by how fast she moves. Even with her back turned, the bald man attacks her, ignoring Jibai's warning not to use such a powerful move. He unleashes a deadly technique that causes a massive explosion, destroying the surroundings. Dust fills the air, and buildings are damaged. When everything finally settles, the bald man stares in disbelief. The woman is standing there unharmed. The powerful attack hasn't even scratched her. Before everything happens, on a floating island beneath an ancient tree, a silver-haired woman sits playing Chinese checkers with a white crane. The crane asks why she always chooses to appear in human form. The woman, known as the Divine Dragon, replies that she dislikes the rules of the Immortal Palace and has no interest in keeping her true form all the time. She jokes that if she follows those rules, she will end up like the crane, half human and half bird. The crane is startled and asks if she is being insulted. The woman laughs and says she is not, but suddenly notices blood dripping from her body. She is shocked, as she has not bled in over 100 years. The bleeding becomes worse, and she quickly uses a healing spell. Realizing something is wrong, she prepares to leave. Before she goes, the crane reminds her to report back to the Immortal Palace. But she flies away at once. As she moves, a strange mark appears on her hand. When she examines it, she realizes it is a death curse that even she cannot remove. She understands that the curse is linked to someone in the human world, and she needs to find him quickly. Back in the alley, a barrier forms around the area, covering the walls with glowing symbols. Jibai watches in shock as the woman stands unharmed after taking a powerful attack. He realizes her strength is far beyond his. She calmly says it has been too long since she fought weak cultivators and that they are far weaker than she remembers. She also remarks that Jibai is even weaker than she expects. Jibai panics and orders his men to retreat, but before they can move, one of them is torn apart instantly. Jibai collapses in fear as she steps toward him. Just then, she notices Hei nearby and recognizes him as the one she ate before. She lifts him into the air and demands he remove the curse from her. He tells her he has no idea how. Furious, she slams him into the ground again and again. The impact shakes the area. However, each time she attacks him, she begins to feel pain herself. Blood spills from her mouth. She finally realizes that hurting him causes her own injury as well. If things continue like this, everything will repeat endlessly. She decides it is better to leave and look for a way to remove the curse. Just as she is about to go, he stops her. She notices that he has come back to life again, which makes her irritated. In her heart, she complains about how troublesome the curse is. He reminds her that she ate him without hesitation before, so now he wants something in return. She asks what he wants, and he calmly says that he wants to become an immortal. This annoys her. She asks what he will do if she refuses. He replies that he will throw himself into a pool of acid and die again and again, forcing her to suffer with him. His words make her furious. She thinks about freezing him and locking him away while she slowly searches for a way to break the curse. Time means nothing to her, but he mocks her and dares her to try. This makes her even angrier. Dark shadows gather under her feet, and red flames rise around her. In frustration, she throws a book at him and tells him that becoming immortal in one step is impossible. The book is a basic cultivation manual meant for slow and steady training. She says it suits someone with no talent like him. Even though it cannot make him immortal, it can help him enter a good academy and live comfortably. The cover shows that it is an advanced skill book. He immediately understands its value and accepts it. He agrees that improving his cultivation is the only way forward. In her mind, she mocks him, thinking that nothing in this world comes for free and that she will take everything back one day. At the same time, he is thinking the same thing. Nearby, Jibai is pressed against the wall, trying not to be noticed. When she looks in his direction, he freezes in fear. She tells him she has no interest in killing someone so insignificant but warns him to forget everything he has seen. When he sees her use her power, he screams in fear. Suddenly, everything goes dark. When he opens his eyes, he is back in the classroom. The instructor is shouting at him to focus. His head feels empty, and he can't remember what happened before. The teacher announces that the first monthly exam has begun and tells everyone to do their best. He warns that students at the bottom will be asked to leave. The body cultivation test starts, and everyone is told to give it their all for their future. Hei does not expect the monthly exam to arrive so soon, especially since the instructors have barely taught anything during the past few days. He feels confused. But the green-haired student sitting beside him explains that this is normal for senior students. Most of the real teaching has already happened in the earlier years, and now everything depends on personal effort. He explains that senior year is all about rankings, competitions, and proving oneself. Anyone who wants to do well has already joined extra training programs long ago. Hearing this, Hei realizes he has signed up for nothing at all. The green-haired student laughs and says that means he is completely unprepared. He then tells the chubby student next to him that their rankings are about to change. When asked why, he points at Hei and says the transfer student has not even enrolled in a single prep class. They both laugh loudly. The green-haired student then glances at Jibai, wondering why such a cruel bully has not acted yet. Even Jibai looks confused himself. His two followers have already been beaten badly before, and one is nearly killed. A strange uneasiness fills his chest, as if something terrible has happened. The first test soon begins. It is a power test to measure destructive strength. A special barrier is set up to test how much damage the students can cause. The instructor calls Jibai first. With confidence, Jibai steps forward and strikes the test wall. The impact is strong, breaking through several layers. The instructor announces that his attack has pierced 5 layers of reinforced defense, which is an excellent result. The class cheers, especially the girls. Jibai remains calm, knowing this is expected of him. The green-haired student praises his strength and explains to Hei that Jibai is famous because he has been directly recommended to a top cultivation academy due to his body training alone. The test measures how much power a person can release in one strike, regardless of technique. Most students can only break 1 or 2 layers, so 5 is considered amazing. Next, the instructor calls the fat student forward. He nervously steps up and attacks. His strike barely passes the first layer, but it is still enough to count. He cheers loudly, relieved that he passes. When it is finally his turn, the instructor calls out to the transfer student. Deep down, the instructor is unhappy that the old principal has accepted someone like him into the class. The green-haired student is sure he will fail and silently thinks that this will be the moment he embarrasses himself. He believes that if Hei can't even break one layer, he will be forced to leave. Pretending to be kind, he even wishes him good luck. Hei steps forward and focuses his energy. His eyes slowly turn red. The instructor notices that his hands are empty and mocks him, saying they have found a rare genius who can create something from nothing. The class bursts into laughter. Jibai joins in, saying that with such a talent, the instructor's position will be very secure. Their laughter grows louder. Then, suddenly, Hei forms a glowing ball in his hand. Everyone goes silent. He pulls his arm back and throws it forward. The attack shoots out with terrifying speed and smashes through the testing wall. The instructor freezes in shock as the energy continues breaking through layer after layer. He worries it might even destroy the outer barrier of the training field. When the power finally disappears, the entire area goes quiet. The instructor announces that although it stops before breaking through completely, it has already broken the record for their year. He is stunned that such power comes from a student with no background. He recognizes the technique as palm lightning and realizes that Hei's body cultivation level is extremely high. The girls rush over, staring at him with admiration, saying he looks ordinary before but now seems incredible. Some whisper that he must come from a powerful hidden family. The green-haired student turns pale, realizing he has mocked someone far above him. Later, he nervously approaches Hei and admits he has misjudged him, offering help if needed. Hei doesn't respond much and quickly leaves. He moves fast through the grounds, his mind racing. He is upset because he realizes the dragon has tricked him. The cultivation method he receives is dangerous and incomplete. If he fails to master it in time, his strength will be reduced and his bloodline weakened. As he hurries away, he knows he has no choice but to train harder than ever. Inside his room, Hei searches through his shelves, trying to find the skill book he bought before. At that time, he does not understand it at all, so he skips to the last pages and gives up reading it. Now, he urgently needs to study the beginning parts again. He thinks about ordering the book once more, but the fastest delivery arrives the next day, which is already too late. He then checks the online version, but the moment he sees the price, he shouts in shock. His neighbors downstairs complain loudly because they need to rest early for cultivation training the next morning. When he first buys the book, it already costs him a huge amount of money, nearly emptying his savings. To his disbelief, the price has increased even more. He checks the time and sees that he only has 8 hours, 31 minutes, and 24 seconds left. If he doesn't act immediately, even staying awake all night isn't enough. He has already spent a large amount earlier, including the 50,000 he gives to the old principal, but in the end, he still forces himself to buy the book for 200,000 yen. After the purchase, his remaining balance drops to only 3,372.29. Without wasting another second, he rushes to the mountains to begin training. He first spends 3 hours, 44 minutes, and 3 seconds practicing basic breathing techniques. After that, he uses the remaining 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 16 seconds to practice controlling his energy and movements. As he trains, bursts of power explode around him, cracking rocks and damaging trees nearby. He pushes himself until the very last moment and finishes just before the time runs out. Feeling proud, he thinks it is easier than expected. However, the moment he relaxes, his vision goes dark and he collapses, far away. Inside a floating island bathhouse, Shinlong is calmly bathing when blood suddenly spreads through the water. She frowns in annoyance, complaining that the immortal energy she has stored is being wasted. When she checks on him through her power, she sees that he has pushed himself too far during cultivation and has lost consciousness. She clicks her tongue in irritation, calling him foolish, and thinks that even the small restriction she places on him is already enough to cause such trouble. She has no choice but to heal him. About a week earlier, on the very first day of the senior year, the ranking results are posted on the notice board. Jibai proudly places within the top 10 of the class through the placement test. He brags loudly that he reaches such a rank using only body cultivation, which makes him look down on everyone else. While he is boasting, a girl nearby suddenly shouts in surprise. She notices that the last position on the list is no longer held by the usual student. Instead, a new name appears at the bottom. It is Hei's name. No one recognizes it, so they immediately know he must be a transfer student. Jibai feels pleased and eager to show this newcomer how harsh life can be in their class. Now, in the present moment, Jibai notices that Hei has risen sharply in rank, climbing 10 places since the last test and reaching position 33. One of Jibai's followers calls him over, saying it is time for the next assessment. They gather in the training hall, where a student stands trembling in front of the testing area. A powerful palm strike suddenly hits the student, sending him flying and breaking his neck. The instructor quickly calls for medical help, shouting for the student to be taken to the infirmary where Dr. Song might still be able to save him. Hei quietly asks the green-haired student what kind of test this is. He explains that it measures palm strength and resistance to impact. Compared to the previous penetration test, this one focuses on direct power. He adds that this is Jibai's specialty, especially because of his famous iron-tempered body technique, which no one in their grade has ever broken through. Jibai then steps forward confidently, facing another strong student named Zhao Yikai. Zhao attacks first with his forged steel palm, releasing a powerful strike that fills the area with dust. He mocks Jibai, saying that his so-called iron body is nothing special. However, when the dust settles, Jibai is still standing. Without hesitation, he strikes back, sending Zhao flying. The instructor quickly orders for Zhao to be taken away for treatment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he calls out another name. This time, he calls for Hei to step forward. Hei is surprised when he hears about something called open source and patented cultivation methods. His classmate explains that all cultivation techniques are divided into these two types. It is common knowledge, so the classmate is shocked that Hei doesn't know. When Hei says he comes from Municipal No. 3 High School, it makes sense to him. That school does not teach real cultivation knowledge. The classmate explains that open-source techniques are available for everyone to learn, while patented cultivation methods are officially registered and protected. Only approved users are allowed to practice them, and anyone who uses them without permission can face serious punishment or even death. The forged steel palm is an open-source method, while the 100 refined steel technique is patented. Most people cannot master patented methods because they require higher talent and strength. After that explanation, the instructor repairs the damaged training ground and calls Hei forward. Jibai steps up to face him, and his heart begins pounding for reasons he does not understand. Even though he has only lost once before, the feeling makes him uneasy. He wants to prove himself and regain his pride. Hei calmly suggests they strike each other at the same time. Jibai becomes angry, thinking Hei is being arrogant. He uses the 100 refined steel technique, confident that he will win. Hei uses the forged steel palm. The instructor watches closely. When their attacks collide, a loud explosion echoes through the area. To everyone's shock, Jibai is sent flying backward and slams into the wall, leaving a deep crater shaped like his body. The entire area falls silent. The instructor stares in disbelief. He realizes that although Hei uses the open-source technique, he has layered it with the patented one, something that should be extremely difficult. Even more shocking is that the technique works perfectly. The instructor is stunned that Hei can use a forbidden method so naturally. He also wonders how Hei can survive the backlash from using such power. Hei then calmly suggests that they should help Jibai, who is stuck in the wall and unable to move. The instructor is so shocked that he doesn't respond right away. When he finally turns to look at Hei, his attitude completely changes. He lowers his voice and asks who his master is. Hei leans closer and quietly tells him that his teacher is the Dragon Lord. Jibai wakes up in the infirmary feeling angry and humiliated. As he lies there, someone nearby speaks and says that the person who beat him looks familiar. It is Jiqian. He stares at Hei's image and feels something is strange. He says that the boy looks like someone he once knew. When Jibai asks who, Jiqian doesn't answer directly, but deep down he feels uneasy. He wonders if the Dragon Lord shows mercy and spares that boy. Still, he quickly pushes the thought away. He then asks what the next test will be. Jibai replies that the next exam will be about poison refining and toxin resistance. Hearing this, Jiqian smiles coldly and says that it will be an interesting test. Later, Jibai continues training hard. He practices the forged steel palm until he reaches full mastery. After that, he goes to report to his boss, telling him that all the scrap cars have been crushed as ordered. The boss is pleased and transfers his payment immediately. Because the boss does not own a machine for crushing scrap, Jibai is able to earn money while training. At the same time, his system reminds him that he still needs to complete the 100 refined steel training. He has already landed over 2,000 strikes but still lacks the final requirement. He begins to wonder who he can fight next to finish the task. Somewhere else, someone suddenly appears in front of Hei and asks if he is Hei. Hei replies that he isn't and says his name is Yin Qingyan instead. He tries to brush it off, but the man insists. The stranger says he has been sent by young Master Zhang to teach him a lesson. Hei realizes this man is Zhang Jixuan, a cultivator at the 9th level of the spiritual attraction realm. At the same time, a teacher elsewhere sneezes for no reason, unaware of what is happening. Hei tells the man that he must be mistaken, But the man accuses him of pretending. Hei calmly responds and tells him he should have said his purpose earlier. When the man attacks, Hei doesn't panic. He notices that although the opponent's cultivation is higher, his movements are stiff. Hei suspects the man is overconfident. The attacker throws a punch, but Hei meets it head-on. The impact sends the man flying backward. When he rushes again, Hei stands his ground and tells him to put more strength into it. The forest shakes as the fight continues. Hei is struck again and kicked hard, sending him flying. Even after falling face first onto the ground, he is strangely smiling. Jixuan is confused by this strange reaction. Even though Hei is clearly being beaten and his energy is weakening, that unsettling smile never leaves his face. Seeing this, Jixuan decides to end the fight quickly and uses a killing move. He unleashes his third-level attack, and the powerful blow smashes into Hei's body, throwing him far back until he crashes into a large rock. Hei drops to his knees, barely standing. Jixuan mocks him, saying that students these days are weak and only pretend to be strong. But when he looks closely, he notices something strange. Hei's injuries are healing rapidly. Even a high-level healer is not able to recover someone that fast. Shocked, Jixuan attacks again, striking with full power. The impact creates strong wind waves that sweep across the area. Yet Hei remains standing. He even smiles when he realizes his body has finally completed the training requirement. The final strike activates the last stage of his cultivation. With renewed strength, Hei suddenly grabs Jixuan's leg and unleashes the black nether palm directly into his body. Jixuan tries to block it, mocking the attack as weak. But Hei warns him to prepare himself. He then follows with the forged steel palm combined with the 100 refined technique. The blow sends Jixuan flying through the air, smashing him into a tree. The force is so strong that the tree cracks apart. Jixuan barely manages to stand up, coughing blood. His internal organs are severely damaged, and most of his meridians are shattered. He can't believe that a student at such a low level can force him into such a state. Rage fills his eyes as he swears revenge. But suddenly, he notices a glowing energy stuck to his hand. He tries to shake it off, but it won't come loose. Panic fills his face as the energy explodes. When the dust clears, nothing remains of him except his glasses lying on the ground. Hei walks over and picks them up calmly. A message appears in his mind, informing him that he has defeated his enemy and gained a new item called the Dynamic Vision Artifact, which enhances his ability to track fast movements. Feeling satisfied, he takes a deep breath. The next day, the results of the rankings are announced. Jabai feels very uneasy as he watches Hei continue to rise in rank so quickly. He cannot believe that Hei has already reached 18th place. What makes it worse is that the people he secretly sends to deal with him all fail. A girl then approaches Hei and asks how he is improving so fast. She even offers to trade some yuan nourishing pills in exchange for his secret. A few girls nearby overhear this and quietly mock her, calling her foolish for trying to trick him with such a bad deal. Soon after, class begins. It is the chemistry lesson taught by teacher John Chengyan. That day's topic is poison creation and poison identification. She explains that in the future, many of them will face danger from coworkers, enemies, or even allies, and if they cannot recognize poison, they can easily lose their lives. Because of this, the test is very important. Each student is given several samples and has to find which one contains poison. They are required to swallow the harmless ones, and their score depends on both speed and accuracy. If anyone can also identify the exact poison used, they earn extra credit. Jabai has secretly tampered with Hei's tray with help from his second brother. He believes Hei will not survive this test at all. The tray contains many strong-smelling foods, including dumplings, stinky tofu, durian, and fermented bean paste. With so many strong smells mixed together, Jabai is sure Hei will never be able to identify the poison correctly. Even worse, the poison is carefully hidden, making it almost impossible to detect. Jabai trusts the poison master in his family and believes that not even the teacher can find it. The green-haired student feels confident because this test suits him well. He begins sniffing his samples carefully. Another student drops a testing liquid onto the food to observe changes. A female student uses lightning to sense toxins, impressing the teacher. Teacher Chengyan nods in approval at her skill. She then notices that Hei has not started yet while everyone else is already working. She walks over to see what he is doing. Jabai sees this and feels pleased, thinking Hei is frozen with fear and has no idea what to do. He believes it does not matter which item Hei chooses, because either way, he will not survive. Just as everyone watches, Hei finally reaches out toward the food. On the floating island, Shenlong calmly fishes, but her thoughts are far away. Ever since she becomes a god, her life has grown dull, and she has nothing to do but pass the time. While she sits there, her nose suddenly begins to bleed. At the same moment, far away, Hei has just finished eating everything placed in front of him. Teacher Qingyan stares at him in disbelief and asks if he truly understands what he has done. She warns that he could die from consuming all of it. She explains that she has carefully controlled the dosage, so it should not be fatal, though it will cause terrible stomach pain. Jibai smirks, believing her words are pointless. He has personally arranged for every item on the tray to be poisoned, enough to kill someone several times over. Soon, Hei begins bleeding from his eyes, nose, and mouth before collapsing. Teacher Qingyan checks his pulse and declares him dead. Some students panic, worrying the school will be blamed, while others say it is no big issue since he isn't from an important background. One student even feels relieved, thinking his rank will rise. The teacher herself is troubled, worried that this incident might affect her career. She suspects sabotage and suspects the PE instructor, who has been competing with her. Just then, Hei suddenly stands up, shocking everyone. Teacher Qingyan freezes in disbelief. She has never seen someone survive such poisoning. Hei calmly explains that all the items are poisoned, including the rare dispersing toxin. He even names the exact poison used. Jibai is horrified, realizing his plan has failed. He has used a poison created by an expert from his family, yet it has not worked. Later, in the laboratory, Teacher Qingyan examines a sample of Hei's blood. After careful study, she confirms that his analysis is correct. She realizes that the poison is indeed real and extremely deadly. She also realizes that only someone with extraordinary ability could have survived it. Meanwhile, Hei browses inside the immortal library, amazed by the knowledge within. Shenlong contacts him through their spiritual link, telling him the strange reaction comes from his bloodline technique. She scolds him for not understanding his own power. He complains that communicating this way is painful. She explains that it is the only method available for now. He sighs and asks if there is any easier way for immortals to talk to mortals. Hei slowly realizes that gods do not live freely as he had imagined. Shenlong explains that gods are treated like powerful weapons, watched closely by the immortal palace. If they act without permission, they will be hunted down. She has already interfered once, and if she interferes again, others will surely notice. When Hei asks if she can at least tell him where powerful treasures are hidden, she replies that everything she is allowed to give him has already been placed inside the techniques she shares. He only needs to follow the instructions properly. As they speak, blood suddenly drips from his hand. A nearby female staff member notices and rushes over, shocked that a student is injured inside the library. She scolds him lightly, thinking he has hurt himself from stress. Hei apologizes and says he will clean it up. Then he asks her about books related to cultivation, explaining that he wants to prepare early since he is in his final year. She is surprised and asks if he really plans to reach the condensation realm. He says yes. She warns him that it is extremely difficult and that even many talented students fail. She explains that reaching it during the college exam will almost guarantee admission to a top academy. She hands him a few recommended books, though she doubts he can understand them. He picks one and begins reading immediately. She notices that instead of starting from the beginning, he flips straight to the last pages. Internally, she thinks he is reckless and naive. The book explains that reaching the condensation realm requires full mastery of either body or energy cultivation and the use of a special pill. It also warns that failure could lead to death. After reading, Hei calmly concludes that he only needs to prepare the pill. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Jibai is furious. He yells at the poison expert who has failed to kill Hei. The man begs for forgiveness and swears that the poison should have worked. Jibai is furious because Hei has now climbed to rank 10, making him a serious threat. He gives the man one final chance and warns that if Hei survives again, his life is forfeit. Just then, a loud noise echoes from above. Everyone looks up in shock as Hei appears, breaking through the roof with a powerful entrance, signaling that he is far from finished. A short time before everything happens, the security around the Zhang residence is extremely tight. Guards are stationed everywhere, watching carefully for any strange movement. One of the guards on the second floor suddenly sees his fellow guard collapse to the ground without warning. Shocked, he reaches for his communicator to report the situation, but before he can finish speaking, he is struck down as well. The attacker moves quickly and jumps onto the balcony, where more guards are stationed. In just a moment, they are all taken down. As he moves deeper into the building, he hears Jibai shouting angrily inside. Hearing his voice, the intruder focuses his strength and gathers power in his hand. With a powerful strike, he breaks through the floor and drops down several levels in one move. When he lands, he immediately charges forward and stabs Jibai in the shoulder with his sword. Jibai never expects such a sudden attack. He has always believed that the person he bullied is weak and harmless. Now, he realizes how wrong he is. If the blade goes just a little deeper, his life ends right there. Even so, Jibai refuses to give up and strikes back with his palm technique, forcing the attacker to retreat. The force of the blow pushes him backward, but he quickly recovers and blocks the next strike with his sword. The impact sends Jibai crashing through several walls until he slams into the far side of the room. Before he can react, thin needles are thrown toward the attacker. He blocks most of them, though one nearly grazes him. Another attacker steps forward wielding a strange weapon shaped like a staff. The end of it opens like a flower, revealing sharp blades. The attacker swings it toward him, but he manages to block it in time. Suddenly, the weapon shifts, and a hidden blade shoots out toward his face. He twists his head just enough to avoid serious injury, though it still cuts his skin. The attacker steps back, surprised. It is then that he recognizes the person standing before him. He finally realizes that this is the same student he once mocked and nearly killed. The realization strikes him hard. He has underestimated someone who is far more dangerous than he ever imagined. He is already on his way to find his target when the man appears right in front of him. The enemy laughs and says that the poison needle he used earlier is not something ordinary. He proudly explains that it comes from an ancient family formula and is far more deadly than common poisons. He believes that no one can survive it. He says the boy should already be dead. Yet when he looks closer, he sees that Hei is still standing. Blood runs down Hei's face, but his eyes are cold and steady, which makes the man uneasy. Without warning, Hei vanishes from his spot and appears in front of him in an instant. He thrusts his sword forward, forcing the man to dodge in panic. The blade narrowly misses. As he tries to counterattack, several thin needles suddenly fly toward Hei. They come from the poison master, who is furious that his poison has failed. He cannot believe someone can still stand after being hit by it. The needles are meant to finish him off. Hei reacts quickly and deflects them, but he can feel the danger growing. The poison master grows angry and shouts that he will end this now. He tells Jibai to run and escape while he handles the situation. Jibai does not hesitate and immediately flees. The poison master then releases a powerful move. The needles stick into the walls and release thick green fog that fills the area. The poisonous mist spreads quickly, making it hard to breathe. Hei begins coughing violently as the poison enters his body. His skin starts to darken, and his movements slow. Soon, he collapses onto the ground, motionless. The poison master laughs loudly, convinced that he has finally succeeded. He mocks Hei, saying that no one can survive such a deadly toxin. He believes the fight is over. Suddenly, a cracking sound echoes through the air. The poison master freezes in shock. The body lying on the ground shatters like stone, revealing it has only been an illusion. In the next instant, Hei appears behind him, his eyes cold and calm. With one swift movement, he swings his sword and strikes. The poison master realizes too late that he has been fooled. His confidence vanishes as fear takes over. In that moment, he understands that he has made a terrible mistake by underestimating his opponent. Ever since Shenlong uses her clay body to take damage for him, she no longer suffers injuries herself. However, 2 of her clay bodies have already been destroyed, which tells her that Hei has gotten into serious trouble. She immediately senses something is wrong. When she looks over, she sees Hei fighting someone. The poison master is shocked because a cultivator at such a low level should not be able to fight him at all. Blood pours from his wounds, and when Hei checks him, he is already dead. Hei takes the items from his body, knowing they can still be sold later. At the same time, Jibai is running desperately along a mountain road, gasping for air. He has dropped his phone while escaping and has to stop a passing car just to make a call for help. Rage fills his heart as he thinks about how a mere transfer student dares to challenge him. He swears that once he gathers his family's assassins, he will kill Hei without mercy. Just as he finishes his call, Hei suddenly appears in front of him. Shocked, Jibai tries to fight back. He strengthens his body with a technique, but Hei still manages to slash him. Blood flows as Jibai staggers backward. Before he can recover, another attack strikes him, sending him flying off the edge of a cliff. He crashes heavily onto the ground below. Hei follows after him. Jibai tries to scare him by shouting that he is from the Zhang family, but Hei doesn't care. He ends his life without hesitation. Hei admits to himself that if the dragon had not taken most of the damage earlier, he would not have survived the fight. Even so, he feels no regret. He burns the body to remove all evidence, knowing the Zhang family will still suspect him anyway. He accepts that conflict with them is now unavoidable. Afterward, he searches the area and collects everything valuable. Among the items are several condensation pills, which are extremely rare. He knows Jibai's brother has once sacrificed greatly just to obtain one. He also gathers gold, silver, weapons, and tools, planning to sell them later. Suddenly, a system interface appears, offering to help him sell the items. Since gaining his abilities, such strange features have become normal. A selling panel appears, and he lists everything. The system calculates the total, and his balance quickly rises to more than 150,000. Then another message appears, announcing that the heaven-opening blade has been sold for 1 million. He is unhappy that all the items he sells only earn him about 1.05 million, especially when a single premium weapon alone costs nearly 1 million. To him, that price feels unreasonable. It isn't that he cannot afford it, but it simply isn't worth it. Instead, he looks through other options. He finds a pair of pocket pants priced at 50,000, which are strong and durable. They also have storage pockets on both sides that can hold items. Thinking they will be useful, he buys them. After that, he checks other items. One is a special blood-boosting pill that costs 600k and increases strength when injured. Another is a vision-enhancing lens priced at 50k, which improves reaction speed. He also buys a protective shirt that can resist damage for 100,000, and a pair of grip boots worth 200k that allow better movement and traction. In total, he spends 950k, leaving him with only a little more than 4,000. Although annoyed, he accepts it. Shenlong, however, is amused by his choices. She is not pleased with him but also has no intention of letting him die easily after the blood curse incident. Soon, a cat messenger appears before her and reports that they have discovered how the blood curse works. Shenlong listens carefully. The cat explains that his bloodline is actually weak and has little true power. His ancestors can only use blood curses on low-level beasts, and those creatures often die quickly, making the bloodline seem more powerful than it really is. That is why no powerful sect ever values his lineage. The dragon questions how such a weak bloodline can affect her. The cat explains that when she descends to the mortal world, her powers are restricted by heavenly laws, allowing the curse to work. Also, his strong will amplifies the effect. However, the curse only lasts as long as his cultivation allows. Once his energy runs out, the effect ends. As they speak, the ritual circle activates. Shenlong steps inside it, feeling sharp pain as the curse is pulled out. Meanwhile, back in the mortal world, Hei lies unconscious. The curse has taken physical form, and the dragon attempts to remove it. Just then, someone knocks on her door. It is a messenger sent by the Celestial Palace. The cat grows uneasy, realizing that such visits are never good news. Lord Shenlong stands inside the grand hall, facing the empty throne. A voice suddenly speaks to her, asking if she wants to sit there. She turns and sees a man standing beside the throne. He tells her that the Celestial Emperor has not appeared for a long time, so the seat has been empty, and there is no harm in her sitting on it for a while. She scoffs and reminds him that everyone knows he has always wanted that seat for himself. She warns him not to play tricks with her and demands to know why she has been summoned. The man calmly replies that her request for promotion to the rank of High Immortal has been rejected. Hearing this, her anger flares. She reminds him that she has given up her territory and followers long ago after he promised her that she would be promoted after 100 years. He replies that circumstances have changed, and now many low-level immortals are seeking promotion. Granting her request based on an old promise would cause unrest. He suggests she accumulate more merit and strengthen her cultivation instead. Before he can say more, she vanishes in anger. The cat sees her return in an instant, flying at terrifying speed. The moment she lands, the ground cracks, and a shockwave shakes the area. The cat tumbles across the ground and asks Shenlong if she is all right. She lies there, and sarcastically replies that she is perfectly fine, aside from being restricted again. The cat finds it hard to believe since she has just shattered the ground. She says her freedom has ended, and now she will have to push the human even harder. Far away in the mortal world, Hei is training in the forest. A bird nearby is irritated by the noise he is making. As he continues cultivating, a notification appears, telling him that his spirit-attracting breathing technique has been completed. This means his foundation is now stable enough to attempt the next stage. With that preparation finished, he activates the advanced cultivation method for the condensation realm. Energy surges through his body, spreading outward like a storm. The ground shakes, dust rises into the air, and a powerful wave bursts outward. When everything finally settles, Hei stands quietly in the center. His eyes glow with a strange red light, showing that his strength has reached a new level. After advancing into the condensation realm ahead of schedule, Hei feels a clear change in his body. His strength, energy, and endurance all increase greatly. His spiritual awareness also becomes sharper, and his understanding of cultivation deepens. He gains access to new techniques, special items, and abilities meant only for those at this level. The system informs him that to fully stabilize this realm, he needs to complete several conditions: 1 condensation pill, 10 high-grade foundation stabilizers, 3 bottles of premium spiritual extract, and 10 layers of spirit accumulation. To his surprise, he already has everything required. He thinks the process is easier than expected. But just as he relaxes, a new alert appears. A special trial has been triggered. He is ordered to clear a secret realm while suffering from a bleeding curse. As payment for advancing early, 30% of his cultivation will be taken later as interest. He has no idea where the trial is located. Suddenly, a red light appears beneath his feet, and before he can react, the ground disappears. He falls straight down into darkness. As he falls, a timer appears, counting down. He curses under his breath as he falls faster and faster. When he slams into a narrow shaft filled with sharp spikes, he barely manages to cling to the wall. His hands and feet burn as he struggles to hold on. He slips several times, but manages to stop himself just before being impaled. His heart races. Even though his body is stronger, pain still hurts just as much. He focuses his energy into his limbs and forces himself upward. Suddenly, metal arms shoot out from the walls, trying to grab him. He dodges one, then slices another apart. His movements are faster and stronger than before. As he climbs, more attacks come. He uses his strength to destroy obstacles, slicing through thick stone arms that are as wide as tree trunks. He feels his stamina draining, but he pushes on. When he reaches a ledge, several stone figures rise from the ground, shaped like warriors holding heavy hammers. At the same time, the countdown continues to drop. Blood trickles from his wounds as exhaustion hits him. He barely has time to react before the stone figures charge. With no time to rest and danger closing in, he prepares himself for another brutal fight, knowing the trial has only just begun. The stone warrior swings its heavy hammer down, but it strikes something solid instead of its target. He has formed a massive hand using his stone golem technique to block the blow. Because he has lost so much blood earlier, his body activates a boiling blood state, which greatly increases his strength. Using that power, he splits the stone soldier in half with a single strike of his blade. A system message appears, telling him that he needs to complete the stone golem training by learning to control it in combat. His progress shows 0 out of 5. Without hesitation, he summons another stone hand and uses it to smash the remaining stone warriors. One by one, they are crushed as the massive stone hand rises and falls. At the same time, in another place, Jiqian slaps a woman hard to wake her up. She opens her eyes in shock and realizes she is tied near a strange altar. She has no idea how she ended up there, since she has only been drinking earlier. She asks Jiqian what is going on. He looks furious and tells her that things have gone wrong. The pill he has taken does not work, and the dragon has ignored his offerings. Because of that, he has decided to offer her as a sacrifice instead. The woman panics and begs, reminding him that she works for him and has done everything he asks. She says she is only a worker and has nothing to do with his plans. Jiqian coldly tells her that her contract means nothing now. He raises a blade and tells her to stop talking. Just as he is about to strike, a loud explosion shakes the area. At the same moment, Hei bursts into the room, smashing through the entrance. He has arrived just in time. Jiqian freezes in shock when he sees him standing there. Hei has already finished his stone golem trial and looks far stronger than before. He mocks Jiqian, pointing out that he has finally caught up to him. Jiqian cannot believe his eyes and shouts in anger, asking how he is still alive. Hei calmly replies that he should have known better, since even his own brother has failed to kill him. The scene grows tense as Hei steps forward, ready to settle everything. Jiqian cannot believe what has just happened. His own brother has been killed right in front of him. Shock quickly turns into rage as he demands to know where the condensation pill is. Without hesitation, he attacks, forcing Hei to hand it over. He shows no grief at all, only anger that his brother's belongings now belong to someone else. To him, family bonds mean nothing compared to power. He believes that since his brother is dead, everything he owns now belongs to him. However, when Hei fights back, Jiqian is completely unprepared. A powerful strike from Hei shatters his arm, spraying blood across the ground. The black-haired woman turns her head away in horror as Jiqian's body slams into the stone floor near the altar. His blood slowly flows across the ground, seeping into the ancient markings carved beneath him. Suddenly, something deep within the altar responds. A terrifying presence begins to awaken. The woman senses danger immediately. The atmosphere grows heavy, and a chilling pressure fills the air. From the darkness, a terrifying being begins to rise. Its form is massive and ominous, and its eyes glow with a deadly light. Hei feels a sharp warning in his chest as he realizes the creature is far beyond anything he has faced before. At the same time, the woman notices that the chains around her are loosening. He rushes over and cuts them free. She stares at him in disbelief, recognizing him as the same person who disappeared long ago. She never expects to see him again, let alone like this. Before she can speak, he tells her there is no time and urges her to leave immediately. She is still in shock as a massive stone hand grabs her and pulls her away to safety. Behind them, the monstrous figure fully emerges. It steps forward, its body radiating killing intent. He feels a crushing pressure just from its presence. His body trembles, and blood trickles from the corner of his mouth. He tries to examine the creature's strength but is struck by a violent backlash. The being's power is far beyond anything he has faced before. The exit behind him seals shut, trapping him inside. The creature raises its weapon, and He braces himself. He blocks the first strike with his blade, but the impact throws him backward violently. He barely manages to land on his feet before another strike comes crashing down. His body shakes as he tries to endure the overwhelming force. He knows then that this enemy is on a completely different level, and surviving this fight will take everything he has. On the floating island, 3 clay statues suddenly shatter into pieces. The divine dragon immediately senses something is wrong. Those statues are life substitutes, and their destruction means that someone is facing a deadly situation. At the same time, down below, He realizes he has already been struck even though he has not seen the attack coming. His body flies backward, and he crashes to the ground on his stomach. The woman stands calmly in front of him, her eyes cold as she raises her hand. A strange glow gathers around her fingers as she prepares to strike again. This time, she aims directly for his neck, intending to end it quickly. He reacts just in time and blocks her strike with his dagger. The collision releases a powerful shockwave that blasts the air around them. The force is so strong that the ground cracks beneath their feet. He realizes she is not holding back and is truly trying to kill him. He quickly raises his hand, summoning the golem arm to attack her. The massive hand swings toward her, but she flips backward and narrowly avoids it, landing several steps away. She looks slightly surprised that he can still move. He does not give her time to rest and rushes forward again, striking with his dagger. She counters his attacks smoothly, deflecting each strike with her blade. Then he throws an energy orb toward her. She reacts instantly, but when the orb touches her weapon, it explodes. The blast forces her to use her strongest move in response. She releases a powerful technique, and the moment it activates, He feels the system alert him that her skill has already been analyzed. He prepares himself. When both of their attacks collide, a violent explosion fills the area with dust and debris. When the dust finally settles, both of them are still standing. However, a moment later, the woman staggers and collapses to the ground. He remains standing, breathing heavily but unharmed. She stares at him in shock, unable to understand how he is still alive after taking her strongest attack. He calmly tells her that while she struck first, he has already prepared for it. He adds that her mistake is underestimating him, and that is why she loses. At first, he wants to prepare himself to block her final attack, but he quickly realizes that her power is far beyond what he can fully defend against. It requires a much higher level of cultivation than he currently has. Then he remembers what happens before. When she attacks him earlier, she does not finish him off right away. Instead, she follows up with another strike aimed at his neck. He understands her pattern now. She always goes for the killing blow afterward. This time, he prepares in advance. When she attacks again, he reacts faster and manages to avoid the fatal strike. Not only that, he also manages to sneak in a counterattack, which catches her off guard. This makes her furious, but before she can react properly, something strange happens. A glowing formation appears in the air, and he suddenly receives a warning that he must complete the hand signs for his prepaid technique or face divine punishment. It is his first time experiencing the true cost of using such power. As he begins forming the seals, she realizes what is happening and tries to stop him. She hurries to form her own hand signs, but her timing is off. A massive hand bursts from the ground and grabs her arms, stopping her movements. She struggles and breaks free, refusing to give up. However, by then, the process has already started. The sky darkens, and powerful energy gathers above them. A terrifying force descends, shaking the ground. This is the punishment from the heavens. The explosion covers everything, destroying the area around them. When the light finally fades, the ground is shattered. He stands there, barely breathing but still alive. A message appears, telling him that the prepaid cultivation has been completed. His level has risen to the 3rd stage of the condensation realm, and new system functions have been unlocked. The woman slowly crawls out of the rubble, injured but alive. He steps toward her and says she is still breathing. She looks up calmly and says he can kill her if he wants. She does not beg or scream. That surprises him. He raises his weapon, ready to strike, but suddenly stops. Instead of killing her, he activates another effect. Her wounds instantly heal, and she stares at him in disbelief. He explains that their lives are now connected. From that moment on, any damage she takes also affects him. A blood curse has been placed. They are bound together, whether she likes it or not. At the bathhouse, the cat sleeps quietly when the water suddenly begins to bubble. The divine dragon stands up, making the cat jump in surprise. She senses something strange, like another presence linking to her. At the same time, the system informs Hei that his advanced payment skill has upgraded. He can now prepay for higher-level items such as magic tools and elixirs, as long as they do not exceed his current realm. The next day at school, Wang Yin appears wearing revealing clothes, which immediately catches attention. Hei looks at her, while Fatty stares in shock. The green-haired student teases him, saying he is staring at his sister-in-law, which makes him panic and deny it. Hei asks the woman if they know each other, and she reminds him that they fought not long ago. Only then does he realize who she is, since she has changed her hairstyle. When he asks how she manages to transfer schools so easily, she casually explains that bribing the administration works every time. Soon, their homeroom teacher announces that the small tests are over and that the real mock exams will begin. This is the first true combat evaluation for the students. Everyone has trained for years for this moment. The teacher explains that each class will fight separately in sealed areas to prevent interference. Students face summoned opponents, and scores depend on how quickly and effectively they defeat them. If someone is in danger, a teacher intervenes. As the announcement ends, the first groups are called forward. Class 1, then Class 2, and then Class 4 follow. Hei notices students from the Ying sect among them and is surprised. His classmate explains that due to agreements between major sects, exchange students are common even in cultivation schools. Hei finds it strange but accepts it. One girl from the group catches his attention. Her sharp gaze scans the area carefully. This is Ryugasaki Hanako, and he senses that she is not ordinary. As the students prepare for their tests, tension fills the air. The green-haired boy whispers nervously, worried they might embarrass themselves. Hei reassures him, saying he does not care about embarrassment. The teacher then formally announces the rules, explaining that each student fights alone and is judged based on performance. With that, the examination officially begins, and the atmosphere becomes tense as everyone prepares to prove their strength. Yin becomes annoyed when she notices someone staring at her master, saying that only she has the right to glare at him like that. The green-haired boy comments that the relationship between the two looks strange, and Hei has no idea what to say. Soon after, the exam officially begins. A large magic circle appears in the center of the arena, and from it emerges a terrifying creature shaped like a giant mushroom with a single eye. Teacher Qingyan immediately feels uneasy and warns that it is a dangerous creature known as a cloud canopy demon, once suppressed by a powerful sect. He scolds Teacher Dao for choosing such a monster for a student test. Teacher Dao brushes him off, saying that this version is only a weakened clone and that the exam area is protected by strong barriers, so no one will die. The students are told that if they fail to deal damage, they receive 0 points. One student attacks with a fire talisman, but it barely works. Another student throws stones but is easily thrown out of the arena. The exam results are announced one by one, and most students fail badly. Only a few pass with low scores. The class grows silent as they realize how difficult the test is. The green-haired student feels relieved that everyone is struggling, not just him. Teacher Qingyan mutters that this exam is too harsh and might break the students' confidence, but Teacher Tao says those who can't handle this don't belong here. Then something unexpected happens. A girl named Hanako runs forward, dodging the monster's attacks. Instead of retreating, she uses the arena wall to jump higher and launch herself forward. The monster swings at her, but she moves fast, draws her blade, and cuts it cleanly in half. The crowd gasps in shock. The creature collapses, and the exam ends instantly. She earns a perfect score. Everyone stares in disbelief. Many students whisper that she must be extremely powerful. Someone mentions she is an exchange student from the Ying sect. A man watching nearby smirks, clearly interested. He quietly arranges for another test to begin. From the cracked ground, more mushrooms begin to grow, and something even more dangerous begins to stir beneath the arena. The next group is called forward, and the first name announced is Grade 12, Class 1, Luna. The green-haired student expects him to perform very well since he is ranked first in his class. He notices Hei moving his hand strangely and asks what he is doing. Hei casually replies that he is just shooing away some mosquitoes, since he cannot explain that he is interacting with a system interface only he can see. He does not care about rankings at all. What matters to him are the rewards and magical items he can gain. Meanwhile, the crowd begins cheering loudly for Junhao. He looks confident and proud, certain that he will crush the exam. He believes there is no real difference between the top-ranked students, and that he will prove it. As the test begins, thick black mist spreads across the field as the mushroom-like monster emerges. Teacher Dao frowns, clearly surprised by its appearance. Junhao clenches his fist, and glowing runes appear on his arm as he launches a powerful punch. The monster is sent flying backward, crashing into the ground. Teacher Qingyan looks impressed, while Teacher Dao explains that Junhao has engraved a powerful formation into his body to increase his striking strength. The ground shakes from the impact, and many students gasp. Junhao proudly claims that this proves his strength and secures his place among the best. However, the monster slowly stands back up. Everyone freezes. Even the teachers look stunned. Junhao's confidence fades as he realizes the creature is still standing. He tries to strike again, believing his technique has simply not landed properly. But before he can land another blow, the monster strikes back. Junhao is hit hard and sent flying into the wall. Teacher Qingyan rushes forward to catch him, but even he struggles to absorb the force. Junhao coughs blood, clearly injured. Teacher Tao immediately realizes something is wrong. The monster's strength far exceeds what is normal for an exam. He quickly contacts higher authorities and requests emergency support, warning that the situation is out of control. As the monster turns its attention back toward the arena, it begins moving again with terrifying speed. Students panic, and some scream. Just as the creature prepares to attack again, something suddenly restrains its movement. Everyone watches in shock, wondering who has stepped in and what will happen next. The proctor is furious that the monster completely ignores his presence, as if he does not exist at all. He quickly uses his power to bind the creature's arms, but he does not realize that the monster beneath the surface has fully awakened. Sharp spikes suddenly burst out from its body, tearing through the ground. Even though the proctor tries to maintain control, the earth beneath him cracks apart violently. He senses danger too late. The ground explodes, and the monster breaks free from its restraints. At the same moment, a fireball comes raining down from above, but the creature releases a strange force from its mushroom-like body, crashing into the fireball and causing another massive explosion. Smoke fills the air as the monster rushes forward. It locks onto the person standing on the roof who has launched the attack. From above, Hanako watches everything unfold. She draws her sword, ready to step in. The man beside her, Sasaki Kaku, shouts angrily and asks what she thinks she is doing. He tells her that the entire exam is designed to eliminate competitors. If the monster kills the top-ranked students, she will gain a guaranteed place at Tsinghua University or even Peking University. Hanako refuses to accept such a twisted path to success. She declares that she will never use others' deaths to secure her future. Just as she prepares to move, a sharp pain shoots through her head, and she screams. Kaku has secretly activated a soul-binding curse on her. He feels relieved, believing that his father's careful plan is finally safe. He thinks it is a waste that someone so kind has been born into the Ryugasaki family, known for cruelty. Suddenly, a violent explosion shakes the area again. Teacher Tao is thrown into the air and crashes to the ground. He struggles to stand and activates a defensive barrier, but the monster smashes through it with ease. The creature grabs him by the neck and lifts him high. His eyes roll back as he struggles to breathe. Just as he is about to lose consciousness, a sharp strike cuts through the air. The monster's arm is severed, and blood sprays everywhere. The beast howls in pain and staggers backward. Everyone turns in shock to see who has intervened. Standing there calmly, weapon in hand, is the young man who has already defied death more than once. About 15 minutes earlier, the green-haired student shakes beside Hei after seeing the terrifying monster. Hei can clearly tell that the boy is scared stiff by the creature's demonic aura. He finds it surprising that someone at the condensation realm level can be frightened so easily. From his own observation, the monster's strength has reached the 7th layer of the condensation realm. Yin is able to sense this as well, which impresses him. However, she explains that it is not her judgment but her body reacting on its own. Her instincts are warning her about how dangerous the creature is. Hearing this, Hei nods and immediately activates his system. He places a barrier around the area so the monster will not be able to escape easily. At the same time, he guesses that the monster probably plans to wipe out everyone present. Although Hei himself is only at the 3rd layer of the condensation realm, his true strength is far higher because of his extended health and abilities. He quickly checks the system market for weapons. Among the many items, only one weapon catches his attention. It is a high-grade item available only through advanced payment. What makes it special is that it can absorb the properties of other magical items and refine them. It can also store techniques and release them later. He chooses this weapon without hesitation and uses advanced payment to obtain it. He places it beside his dagger, preparing himself for the fight. Then he tells Yin to stay behind and not move, explaining that she might face another threat if things go wrong. Yin agrees, but asks if the teachers cannot handle the situation. Hei explains that most of the teachers are only at the 1st layer of the condensation realm. Only Teacher Dao has reached the 5th layer, and even then, he would struggle unless he has time to prepare. In a sudden battle, even Dao is at a disadvantage. That is exactly why Hei needs to step in. By then, the weapon finishes refining and gains the boiling blood attribute. At that moment, Teacher Dao is already struggling and coughing blood while trying to hold off the monster. When he sees Hei arrive, he is shocked but also relieved. He quickly tells him that a barrier has been placed around the area, trapping the students inside. He asks Hei to find a way to break it while he continues to hold the monster back. Despite the danger, Teacher Tao stands firm, fully prepared to protect his students even at the cost of his own life. The monster listens closely as spores suddenly grow along its neck, and its torn arm quickly regenerates. Hei notices how fast the healing is and realizes the creature can recover in seconds. He guesses it is a type of fungus-based monster. Without warning, it charges straight at him. He raises his sword to block, but he feels the creature's fist harden as it moves. It is compressing its demonic energy to strengthen its strikes. The next punch comes even harder, sending Hei flying backward. He barely manages to stop himself before crashing into the wall. Before he can regain his balance, the monster appears right in front of him again and swings once more. The blast from the impact fills the area with dust and debris. Teacher Qingyan panics, thinking the transfer student is finished. Teacher Tao suggests going down to save him, but even he sounds unsure. He knows that Teacher Qingyan rarely involves himself directly, and if he does, it means the situation is truly dangerous. Teacher Tao understands that the student is likely beyond saving, yet he still feels helpless watching from afar. The monster keeps striking the area where Hei has fallen, clearly enjoying the attack. But suddenly, Hei grabs the creature's fist mid-swing. Both the monster and the teachers are stunned. The boiling blood effect activates, increasing Hei's strength. He immediately counters, swinging his sword with full force and sending the monster flying across the battlefield. The creature slams into the ground and struggles to rise. At that moment, a sharp light flashes from the sky. It is Hei's sword descending with terrifying force. The monster tries to block it with its hands, but the blade releases a dark energy blast right in front of its face. The explosion is massive, leaving only fragments of its body behind. Teacher Qingyan stares in disbelief, shocked that the monster has been defeated so quickly. But Hei senses something is wrong. He looks up and sees another presence forming in the sky. A second monster appears, almost identical, but with a huge eye in the center of its mushroom-shaped head. The cap spins violently, launching sharp spikes like missiles. Seeing the attack coming, Hei tightens his grip on his weapon and prepares himself for the next strike. The monster suddenly begins firing countless sharp projectiles in every direction. The students panic and run in fear, but because a barrier surrounds the area, they have nowhere to escape. Hei quickly forms a hand sign and activates the golem shield formation he has taken earlier. The students are terrified because the attack covers such a wide area that escape seems impossible. One of the students is about to be hit when an explosion goes off right in front of him. A chain of explosions follows, shaking the ground. When the dust settles, the student realizes he is unharmed. Everyone stares in shock, then relief spreads through the group as they realize they are safe. They soon understand that someone has protected them with a powerful defensive formation. Many of them are amazed because such a wide defensive shield requires massive spiritual power. They know that whoever casts it must be extremely strong. Yin notices that Hei has protected everyone, even those who have looked down on him before. She realizes he is too kind, saving people who might later turn against him. Meanwhile, Hei's energy is rapidly draining. Even so, he believes the monster must be suffering as well. High above, the mushroom monster begins to weaken, and its body starts to break apart. It roars angrily before disappearing, only to suddenly reappear right beside Hei. Hei reacts instantly, kicking his sword forward while jumping back to avoid the attack. The monster tries to strike again, but Hei blocks it. His sword sparks with black energy as he swings again. This time, he slices the monster's head clean off, and the body staggers backward. For a moment, it looks defeated. But then the head regenerates, growing back as if nothing has happened. Hei realizes that cutting its head is useless. He quickly channels more power into his blade, causing dark lightning to crackle around it. With another swing, he cuts the creature down again. The monster recovers once more, proving that its weakness is not its head. Hei watches carefully and finally notices movement in the creature's torso. Suddenly, the monster's chest splits open, revealing a large, glowing eye hidden inside. The sight makes it clear that the real core of the creature is not its head at all, but the eye buried deep within its body. In an instant, the monster disappears from sight. Hei quickly notices that it has become even faster than before, but he manages to sense where it will appear next and swings his weapon in that direction. The monster dodges and strikes him hard in the side, sending him flying through the air as blood spills from his mouth. Before he can fully recover, the creature begins circling him at incredible speed, moving so fast that afterimages fill the area. Even so, Hei manages to block several of its attacks with quick reactions and strong defense. Blow after blow lands on him, and although his body is hit many times, he refuses to fall. Teacher Qingyan watches with mixed emotions. Part of him feels disappointed, believing the transfer student has finally reached his limit. He truly thinks the boy could change the situation. Teacher Tao, however, shakes his head and says it is impossible from the start. The gap in strength is simply too wide. Still, even he has to admit that for a student to fight this long against such a monster is extraordinary. Hei's raw power alone already places him among the top students. Yin watches nervously as the fight continues. She cannot understand why he still has not used the terrifying move he has shown earlier. The monster moves too fast, and even when Hei blocks its strikes, the impact shakes his entire body. His strength is being pushed to its limit, and his boiling blood ability has already activated at full force. Despite the pain, he steadies himself and takes a firm stance. He raises his sword, gathering all his remaining power. Teacher Qingyan thinks he has finally given up because he suddenly stops moving, but then, in the next moment, a terrifying pressure spreads through the air. Hei releases a powerful technique, one so strong that it shakes the ground itself. The force surges outward, breaking through the surrounding barrier with ease. Teacher Dao is shocked beyond words. He has tried earlier to break that same barrier and fails completely. Seeing it shattered so easily makes him question his own strength and worth as a teacher. The air trembles as the attack surges forward, signaling that Hei has unleashed everything he has left. The monster's body slowly vanishes, leaving behind a strange object known as a durian fiend core. Hei collects it, knowing it can later be used as a powerful beast core that can be controlled by a beast tamer after proper cultivation. The system then reminds him to complete the ritual process for the heavenly law of annihilation. He follows the instructions and forms several hand signs until the ritual is completed. Teacher Qingyan stands frozen, unable to believe what he has just seen. He admits that he has not even been able to clearly see the final strike. Turning to Teacher Dao, he says that with this level of strength, Hei is no longer just among the top students. He can rival the very best in the academy. Teacher Dao does not reply. He stands silently, filled with doubt about himself and his own limits. Later, as things settle, Hei and Yin walk quietly through a nearby park. By this point, Hei has already broken through to the 9th layer of the condensation realm. This also allows him to use advanced payment abilities on others. Yin checks her phone and sees that his name is trending everywhere. People are calling him the darkest horse of the year and saying he is guaranteed a spot in the top cultivation universities. She notices him making gestures in the air and asks what he is doing. He calmly explains that he is paying his health insurance. He has just handed over 30% of his earned cultivation and merit points to the divine system. Only then do his injuries begin to heal again. He soon notices something strange. Her condition has changed. A dark cloud appears above them, spreading quickly and covering the area. It forms a sealed space known as a forbidden domain, cutting off everything inside from the outside world. This kind of barrier is usually used to kill witnesses. Suddenly, a weapon flies toward them. Hei blocks it with his hand construct, but the weapon explodes on impact. Yin tries to retreat but steps into a pool of dark liquid that traps her. As the smoke clears, Hei realizes what kind of technique is used. Someone has combined a ceiling formation with an explosive attack. Just then, Hanako rushes toward him and swings her blade. He raises his weapon to block her strike, and the battle resumes once more. He feels the impact hit his hand, but he quickly realizes that she has used the flat side of her blade instead of the sharp edge. As soon as that happens, he loosens his grip and lets his weapon fall. Hanako immediately leaps backward, creating distance between them. He looks at her and asks if she has done all of this just to steal his weapon. She answers honestly, saying that her father has ordered her to kill him because he is a threat to her future path and stands in the way of her advancement. However, she admits that she does not like killing people, so she decides to take his weapon instead and report him as dead. She warns him that if he stays in the country or continues to appear in school rankings, the Ying sect will never leave him alone. Her sword begins to glow as she speaks. At that moment, the system alerts him that the post-payment mission linked to the Cloud Ruin weapon has been activated. Almost instantly, strange energy fills the area, and both of them are wrapped in thick dark mist. She looks around in confusion as the surroundings change. Suddenly, she finds herself standing in a different place. She jumps back in alarm and lands on a rooftop, her eyes widening in shock as she realizes the environment has completely changed. She asks what has happened, and he calmly explains that they are now inside the realm of past reflections. It is a special space that allows people to witness memories from the past but not interfere with them. He explains that the weapon she has taken is bound to this realm, and by touching it, she has triggered the condition that pulls them inside. Because of that, the blade disappears from her hands. He tells her that the real form of the weapon is still somewhere inside this realm, and unless they find it, the weapon will never return to him. Suddenly, they hear a familiar voice singing in the distance. The sound causes her body to stiffen. She turns and sees a young girl running toward a house. It is her younger self. She follows the scene in disbelief as the girl happily calls out to her family. But when the door opens, the sight inside freezes her blood. Everyone inside is dead. Her siblings lie motionless, and her mother lies on the floor with a sword in her body. She screams in horror. Then someone steps forward. It is her senior brother, dressed in the uniform of the Ying sect. He smiles coldly as he approaches her, and she realizes the truth behind everything. When Hua is still in elementary school, she trains hard every day. One afternoon, she jumps up onto a tree branch and throws several knives at a target. Every single one hits perfectly in the center. She then jumps back down smoothly. A woman standing on another branch praises her, saying her skills are already better than her own had been at that age. This woman is her older sister, Hua Qianhui. She points out that one target behind another tree has not been hit. Hearing this, Hua quickly throws another knife. The blade strikes the first knife in midair and changes direction, hitting the hidden target perfectly. Qianhui is shocked. Then Hua throws one more knife, and it strikes a tree with such force that it leaves a deep hole. Qian walks over to inspect it closely, amazed by her strength. Hua asks if she has passed, and her sister nods. Since it is getting late, they decide to head home. When they arrive, Hua happily tells her father how well she has done and how she even hit the hidden target. Her father gently pats her head in praise. Just then, they hear the sound of wood being cut nearby. It is Hua Qianhui, a young man from the Hua clan, practicing his sword skills. Qianhui notices that his technique has improved again. She asks their father if he truly plans to teach him the family's iron wall blade technique. Her father admits he is considering it. Although Hua Qianhui is not from their bloodline, he has stayed with them for 3 years. During that time, he has always been respectful, hardworking, and kind. He helps with chores, trains seriously, and never complains, even when injured or tired. Because of this, the master believes he deserves the teaching. Suddenly, everything changes. Without warning, Hua Qianhui swings his sword and pierces the master's chest. Shock fills the air. As the master falls, he asks why he has done this. Hua Qianhui coldly reveals the truth. He says he is never truly part of their family. He is born into the Ying clan and has changed his identity to hide among them. For years, he has pretended to be loyal just to learn their secret iron wall blade technique. Now that he has mastered it, he sees no reason to pretend anymore. His true goal has always been to destroy the entire clan. The master warns him that even if he manages to stab him, the others in the courtyard will not let him escape so easily. At that moment, someone grabs the door and pushes it open. It is Yu Yue. She struggles forward, forcing herself to walk even though she has already been badly injured in the chest. Her steps are weak, and she can barely stay upright. The master watches in horror as she collapses before him. Seeing his daughter fall like that makes his heart shatter. Rage fills his eyes as he realizes that the man before him has poisoned his entire family. Zheng coldly replies that the Ying clan has always followed one rule: learn a technique, then destroy the family that creates it. He speaks without emotion, saying it is unfortunate that the youngest daughter has not yet returned home. He even says it is a pity, because she has great potential. Just then, as if fate is mocking him, the youngest daughter returns home. The master begs Zheng to spare her life, pleading desperately. Zheng tells him not to worry. He says that since the girl has strong spiritual talent, he will erase her memories and raise her himself. He claims she will become useful in the future. He adds that once she enters a higher academy, he will take her spiritual path completely and reunite her with her real father. By the time he finishes speaking, the master has already collapsed, lifeless. Soon after, Hua Zheng appears and greets the girl calmly. He says he has been bored waiting and has already killed her family while passing the time. Hearing this, she drops her bag in shock and anger. She attacks him without hesitation, throwing her knives with all her strength. However, he easily blocks them all. He recognizes her technique instantly and mocks it, saying it is the signature style of her clan. He explains that he has already mastered their techniques long ago, making her attacks useless. One knife barely misses his eye, but he calmly catches her by the throat and slams her to the ground. She loses consciousness as he activates a powerful curse. From that moment on, her fate changes. He takes control of her body and names her anew, claiming her as his own. When she later wakes up, she calls him father. After that, he burns the entire place to the ground, leaving nothing behind, and walks away with her by his side. Hanako stands still as she watches the building burn in front of her. She does not move for a long time. Anger and hatred slowly fill her heart as she stares at the flames. She wants to rush forward, but Hei reminds her that she cannot interfere. Still, her emotions overwhelm her, and she charges forward with her sword, trying to strike Jung. When her blade hits him, it shatters instantly. Jung, who is walking away, only pauses for a moment as if he has sensed something strange. The younger Hanako asks him what is wrong, but he brushes it off, saying it is nothing. They continue walking, and he tells her that once they return, he will arrange someone to teach her the Eastern language. In the present, Hanako trembles as the memory plays out before her. She feels deep pain and betrayal toward the man she once calls father. The system then announces that the scene has shifted into an interactive memory. They are told to search for a key item called the Cloud Ruin Guide. Hei leads her into the burned remains of the house. She senses something beneath the rubble, and with his help, they uncover it. When she sees the blade, she realizes it once belongs to her father. Hei hands it to her, explaining that it is always meant for her and that it has guided her back here. He also gives her a manual that has been left behind, explaining that it is designed to counter the iron wall blade technique. She admits that mastering it will take many years, and she fears she does not have that much time. Hei tells her she does not need to wait anymore. He places 2 fingers on her forehead and transfers the knowledge directly into her mind. The system then announces that the advanced payment for the technique has been activated and that a portion of her future cultivation will be deducted as repayment. She asks what that means, and he explains that it is a system agreement she has unknowingly entered. She can refuse, but then she will lose the chance to gain this power. Without hesitation, she kneels before him and accepts. He tells her to stand up and says she is now his disciple. Though he has little to give, he promises her that he will provide her with proper guidance and equipment, starting with a set of protective robes. After the post-payment mission for the Cloud Ruin Guide is completed, Hanako quietly watches the sunrise and then looks down at the mark on her hand. Then, Hei explains that because of the blood curse, they are now connected as master and disciple, sharing a single health pool. From now on, any injury she suffers will be transferred to him. He also reminds her that the blade she carries has a boiling blood effect, meaning the more damage she takes, the stronger her attacks will become. Someone nearby notices her staring blankly and asks what is wrong. Kaku says that their father is calling her. Shuichi then speaks, saying that even though Hanako has revealed her flaws during the exam, it is good that she realizes her mistakes, eliminates those who stand in her way, and even brings back a valuable treasure. He believes all his effort in raising her is not wasted. She suddenly becomes serious and says there is something she needs to ask. Kaku scolds her for being disrespectful, but she ignores him and asks whether their actions truly deserve to be called righteous. Choichi becomes angry and questions her loyalty. She replies that they speak about virtue and morality, yet secretly commit acts of killing, robbery, and destruction. Kaku angrily defends their actions, claiming everything is done for the good of the clan. She ties her hair into a bun and says they follow small rules but lack true morality. She fastens a crescent-shaped ornament in her hair, which reduces the energy she uses when casting techniques. She continues, saying they care only about appearances and power, not kindness or justice. She then removes part of her clothing, revealing a special outfit that boosts spiritual energy and repairs itself automatically. Shuichi notices the energy gathering around her and quickly draws his weapon. She states that the weak are always oppressed while the powerful act like tyrants. Kaku finally loses his patience and attacks her, but she strikes first and sends him flying away. Realizing she has seen through everything, Shuichi stops pretending. He calls for his clan members to gather. One by one, they appear and surround her. Without fear, she stands her ground as they prepare to attack all at once. A bald man rushes toward Qianhui and swings his sword at her, but she quickly blocks the attack with the sheath of her own blade and kicks him hard in the head. Another attacker rushes in, and she cuts him down instantly. While she is moving, several sharp weapons are thrown at her from different directions. She throws her sword toward the attacker, and it pierces straight through his neck, dropping him to the ground. The others are shocked, but they quickly surround her as she jumps forward to grab her weapon again. They attack her together, trying to overwhelm her, and she blocks their strikes one after another. They keep pressing forward, trying to trap her and stab her at the same time. While they are doing that, one man tries to stab her from the side, but she reacts instantly and releases a flash of lightning energy that strikes all of them at once. She then leaps upward, breaking through the roof. One attacker follows her, but she cuts him down in midair. As she lands, another man rushes at her, and she slices his arm before cutting down the next one. One by one, her enemies fall. The remaining fighters stare in disbelief, unable to believe that a single girl is overpowering them so easily. Some of them stop fighting, realizing they stand no chance. Others watch from a distance, knowing they will only die if they join. They believe that numbers would guarantee victory, but they are wrong. She is chosen by the sect leader himself, and even though she comes from outside the sect, her sword skills are unmatched. Okawa Menta, one of the 3 strongest swordsmen of the Ying sect, observes everything quietly. He knows she will not stop until one of the true masters steps in. Another master, Nagano Nakayasu, also watches carefully. He asks why Menta is still standing there instead of attacking. Menta replies that rushing in blindly would be foolish. His style relies on perfect timing, and he is waiting for the right moment. By then, bodies are scattered across the ground. Qianhui is breathing heavily and struggling to stay upright. Seeing this, Menta decides it is time. He draws his sword and moves forward. Qianhui senses danger and turns her head just in time. In the next instant, his blade flashes toward her, ending the moment in a sudden strike. Blood sprays into the air as her body is struck, and the attacker shows a wide, confident grin. She is thrown back with great force. Yin feels something is wrong right away and realizes that Qianhui's energy has weakened. She turns to He and asks if he really plans to just stand there and do nothing. She doesn't expect him to be so calm, especially after everything that has happened. In her mind, she thinks he would be angry since she had trapped him earlier. But He calmly explains that he has already made his move. He has secretly set up a powerful barrier around the entire area. A glowing golden wall surrounds them, sealing everyone inside. Yin is confused, wondering why he would trap everyone, including her. He almost admits that it doesn't matter if she is hurt because the dragon will take the damage for her, but he stops himself and corrects it, saying he will take the damage instead. With the power of boiling blood still active, he is confident he can endure it. His real plan is to make sure no one escapes. He wants to wipe out every enemy there. Meanwhile, Shui lies on the ground in a pool of blood. Menta laughs proudly, believing he has killed her with one strike. But suddenly, she moves. He freezes in disbelief as she slowly stands up. He can't understand how she is still alive after taking such a fatal blow. She barely blocks it at the last moment. Menta feels both shocked and irritated. He rushes forward again, determined to finish her. She responds by activating her spiritual control, causing parts of the ground to break apart and float into the air. The broken pieces fly toward him like weapons. Menta doesn't panic. He sneers and says that such weak tricks will never work on him. His boiling blood ability increases his strength even more. She replies calmly that she never means to stop him with that move. It is only meant to force him to reveal his next action. The moment he reacts, she strikes. She moves with incredible speed, and her blade clashes with his. He manages to block it, but she continues pressing forward. Even though his reflexes are sharp, her next strike slips through his defense. Her blade cuts cleanly through his weapon and strikes him directly. The clash echoes through the area as her attack finally lands, proving that she is far more dangerous than he ever expects. After that, the system informs her that the post-payment mission for the blade crushing technique has been processed. The skill requires her to use the crushing blade move several times during combat. This technique consumes a large amount of spiritual energy, and once activated, it allows her attack to ignore the enemy's defense and strike directly through their guard. However, the system warns that her spiritual energy is currently too low, so she needs to wait before using it again. At that moment, the 2 remaining sword masters of the Ying sect, Matsunaga Yuyo and Nagano Nakayasu, realize that their weakest companion has already been defeated. Nakayasu notices that her blade has not even been damaged, and he becomes confused about how she manages to cut through an opponent so cleanly. Yuyo is also shocked, as he clearly remembers that her strength before is far below theirs. He begins to wonder how her power has increased so quickly. After thinking for a moment, he suggests that they attack her together. It is not because he fears her, but because he believes it is safer to finish her off together and share the credit. Nakayasu agrees and prepares to assist. He launches his attack first. Using a powerful slashing technique, she bends her body low and avoids the strike. At that moment, Yuyo rushes forward and swings his weapon at her. She raises her blade to block, but the force is strong enough to send her flying backward. She crashes through a wall and is thrown outside. Her arms tremble from the impact. Before she can recover, Yuyo charges again with a confident expression, believing she is already defeated. She quickly uses her spirit control ability to pull her weapon back to her hand. However, before it can fully return, he attacks again. She raises her arm to block, but the pressure is overwhelming. Just then, she is struck from the side. Yuyo laughs and comments that Nakayasu has cut her cleanly. Nakayasu coldly tells him to finish her off and not waste time. She falls to the ground. blood spilling as she struggles to stand. Yuyo raises his weapon, ready to end her life. But just as he swings down, something unexpected happens. And his expression changes in shock. He cannot believe what he is seeing. She is standing again, even though she has just suffered a deadly wound. What shocks him even more is that her clothes are slowly repairing themselves, as if time is reversing. The deep slash that should have cut her body in half is already closing. He stares in disbelief, wondering how such a thing is possible. He thinks it must be some rare healing technique that only extremely powerful cultivators can use. Then he watches as she calmly summons her weapon back to her hand using spirit control. At that moment, her boiling blood effect has reached nearly full power. She steps forward without fear. Yuyo feels his heart tighten when he realizes his body reacts before his mind. He has taken a step backward without meaning to. He tells himself it doesn't matter. Even if she has some strange healing ability, his blade will still end her life with one clean strike. He rushes forward and attacks again, confident that once her head is gone, nothing can save her. Their weapons collide violently. Sparks burst out as metal meets metal. Nakayasu watches in shock as she blocks the blow with only one hand. The force of the clash shakes the ground. He cannot understand how someone who has just been nearly cut in half can still fight at full strength. He realizes something is wrong. She is getting stronger the longer the battle continues. His instincts scream at him to finish this quickly. He launches several powerful slashes in a row, filling the air with deadly pressure. The attack is so wide that even Yuyo has to retreat to avoid getting hit. Annoyed, Yuyo shouts that Nakayasu is reckless, but Nakayasu replies that sacrifices are acceptable if it means victory. However, before he can strike again, she grabs him and uses his body as a shield. The attack meant for her strikes him instead. Blood sprays everywhere as he is torn apart. When the dust settles, he collapses, lifeless. For a brief moment, it looks like she has disappeared. Then she appears behind him, standing calmly. Nakayasu turns in shock and tries to swing again, but she is faster. Her blade cuts through his weapon as if it were paper. He stares at the broken weapon in disbelief. Before he can react, her strike lands cleanly. In a single motion, she cuts him down, ending the fight completely. The progress of the post-payment mission for the breaking blade technique reaches 5 out of 2, showing how far things have gone beyond normal limits. Qianhui turns around and sees a man slowly clapping his hands. He praises her performance and says he is impressed by how quickly she has grown. It is Ryugasaki Shuichi. The moment she sees him, anger fills her chest. Without hesitation, she charges forward and attacks him, her blade cutting through the air. He calmly blocks her strike and then hurls a blade back at her, which she narrowly avoids by bending her body low. More blades soon appear around him, floating and spinning in the air. He laughs proudly, saying he has learned the iron wall blade technique of her clan and then destroyed them all, leaving himself as the only one who truly masters it. His smile is wide and cruel, and she tells him coldly that she will carve that grin straight off his face. She rushes him again, striking again and again. But his rotating blades move like a shield, deflecting every blow. Each time her sword clashes with his defense, sparks fly, and the air shakes. His technique barely costs him any energy, while hers drains her strength quickly. He mocks her, saying that no matter how hard she tries, she will never break through. She ignores his words and pushes herself harder, activating her breaking blade technique. With a powerful swing, she manages to slice through part of his defense, closing the distance between them. For a moment, it looks like she might succeed, but he has already predicted her move. With perfect timing, he counters, using her own momentum against her. The clash sends shockwaves through the air. Her attack fails to land cleanly, and she is struck in return. The impact sends her flying backward, and she crashes to the ground, blood spreading beneath her. Her body trembles as she tries to move, but her strength fades fast. From a distance, someone watches silently through a shimmering projection. The observer notes that her life force is weakening rapidly. The figure calmly remarks that the life bound to her is reaching its limit. The battlefield grows quiet, and her body lies still as the final moments of the clash settle into silence. She sees him clearly now, and her body is bleeding heavily. Blood flows from many wounds, but she tells him not to make a big deal out of it, saying it is only a little blood. The cat watching nearby is shocked, because the amount of blood pouring out is far more than a little. He can tell that she is pushing herself far beyond what is normal. He realizes that she is using her own body as a shield for someone else, and that she is enduring extreme damage on purpose. It is obvious that she is planning something big. When he asks her about it, she simply says it is a secret. Back in the fight, Shoichi stares in disbelief when he sees her still standing. He has believed she is already finished. Seeing her rise again makes his expression darken. She looks at him and tells him to keep that arrogant smile on his face. That only makes him angrier. he decides to end everything with one final attack. The system announces that her boiling blood effect has reached a higher level, and her power surges. Her sword glows as energy gathers around it. She rushes forward with incredible speed. She breaks through his defense and forces him to react. Even though he manages to block her strike, she immediately follows up. Her blade strikes his face directly, cutting him across the mouth just as she had warned earlier. The attack is brutal. Blood sprays as she completes the strike. The breaking blade technique reaches its final stage, and the system confirms that the requirement is fully met. His body collapses, and half of his head is gone. Nearby, someone has been watching everything unfold. It is the son of Ryugaseki Kaku. He has believed that his father's iron wall blade technique is unbeatable. Seeing his father fall shatters that belief. Fear fills his heart. He knows he stands no chance. Without thinking, he turns and runs, deciding to escape and live another day. He tells himself he will return later with stronger allies and take revenge. As he flees, he accidentally steps onto a hidden formation.
Qianhui stands quietly as she watches the entire building burn down, knowing that she has finally taken revenge for her family. The wind blows around her as Hei appears and praises her for doing well. He tells her that 30% of the cultivation experience and merit points from the mission have already been transferred to him. Because of that, Qianhui's cultivation rises to the 9th level of the condensation realm. At the same time, Hei reaches the peak of that realm and can now prepare to advance to the golden core stage. Qianhui then tells him that her magical robe can no longer repair itself automatically. He explains that this is only because her spiritual energy is currently low. To help her, he opens the system shop so she can buy a new outfit. She thanks him and chooses one with similar abilities, but admits that she cannot afford the post-payment of 500,000. He reassures her and says it is not a problem since he has already taken all the valuables from the Ryugaseki estate earlier and used them to cover the cost. Suddenly, he feels a strong killing intent. It comes from Yin, who is clearly angry. She is upset because she has been his first disciple, yet she feels that she has been treated unfairly. To calm her down, he decides to give her the same chance and asks what she wants to upgrade. She answers without hesitation that she wants everything. The system then announces that her dual feather greatsword has been upgraded. A system panel appears in front of her, explaining that she has to complete a post-payment mission within a set time. Once finished, her cultivation level, equipment, and skills will all improve. To begin, she needs to enter a special secret realm. Without hesitation, she accepts. He is surprised that she is leaving so suddenly, especially since there is another mock exam coming up. She does not care about the exam at all. To her, it means nothing. All she cares about is becoming stronger, no matter the cost. With that, she disappears. Qianhui watches everything with amazement. Later, they receive a notice from the school telling them to collect their admission tickets for the second mock exam. When they arrive, the teacher asks why they are so late when everyone else has already collected theirs. Hei casually replies that their minds are exhausted from training and they have forgotten. He then asks where the exam hall is. The teacher explains that each ticket has a special magical seal, and once spiritual power is poured into it, the person will be transported directly to the exam location. He is amazed by how advanced everything looks. Qingyan, the teacher, tells him that he has become very famous after the last mock exam. He has completely outperformed all the other top students and climbed straight to first place in the entire school. He replies humbly, saying he is just lucky. She then warns him that the next exam will involve students from 10 different schools, so the competition will be extremely intense. Many of them will not hesitate to do whatever it takes to win, so he needs to stay alert. The next day, Qianhui asks him if they will be sent to the same exam location. He answers honestly that he does not know, since the locations are randomly assigned. He wishes Qianhui good luck and says they will meet again at the finish line. After that, the magic card in his hand glows brightly, and in the next moment he finds himself in a completely different place. He realizes he has arrived inside the exam zone, a massive forest known as the Giant Woodlands. He has read about it before, but seeing it in person is overwhelming. The trees are far larger than he had imagined. A flying device appears and announces the official start of the exam. Somewhere else in the forest, a huge shadow looms over a student. It is a 5th-layer spirit beast shaped like a bear. The beast attacks, but the student counters with a punch that sends it flying. In another area, a similar scene unfolds. A different student, ranked 3rd in his school, is also fighting a bear and easily overpowers it. His teammates cheer as he brags that these monsters are nothing more than warm-up targets. He believes the only reason he lost before is because he has been careless. Suddenly, however, He senses something dangerous nearby. A powerful presence appears, a bear at the 6th layer of the condensation realm. Its body is covered in scars and its eyes are filled with killing intent. Even the confident student feels fear. His legs begin to shake, and he realizes his body will not move. The trauma from his past battle returns. Just then, the beast suddenly turns and runs away. The student is confused until he notices someone passing by in the distance who happens to be Hei. The pressure he gives, off alone, frightens the monster into retreat. Watching him pass, the student can hardly believe what he has seen. Meanwhile, Hei chases after the fleeing beast with excitement, treating the dangerous creature as nothing more than a fun hunt. In the forest, there is a large tree with a hollow in its trunk, and blood spreads all around the area. Some broken branches and leaves are also stained red. It is clear that a fierce fight has happened there not long ago. Junhao notices something strange near the bushes. When he looks closer, his face turns pale. Hidden behind the shrubs are the bodies of several fiends. There are nearly a dozen of them, and all are at the 5th or 6th layer of the condensation realm. He instantly realizes that they have all been killed by the same person. It shocks him deeply. He finally understands how foolish he has been to think he can compete with someone like that. Just then, a light appears in the air, and the ranking board shows itself. The second phase of the exam is about to begin. There are now just over 70 students left. The rankings show that Zhang Jishi from number 1 middle school is in first place with 200 points. Right behind him is He Xin from number 6 middle school with the same score. Third place is taken by Yuping from number 8 middle school with 198 points. Fourth is Hua Changqian from number 6 middle school with 186 points, and fifth is Modun from number 7 middle school with 180 points. Seeing this, Yuping from number 8 feels annoyed. He cannot believe that some students have wasted such good chances by dying early. Only the top 10 from each school are allowed to continue, and he feels the weak ones do not deserve their place. He turns to Qianhui, a beautiful girl nearby, and asks if she agrees. She ignores him completely and leaps onto a tree branch. Annoyed, he follows her. He has noticed her strength earlier and believes she has great potential. He even thinks about recruiting her into his family. However, she is clearly not interested. The next part of the test begins. Several armor-piercing beast claws are hidden around the area. The task is to collect 10 of them to form a weapon strong enough to fight the final monster. While others search carefully, a boy named Modun stands on a high tree branch. He is the top student of number 7 middle school and a rare genius. He believes such preparations are unnecessary. Using his wind control ability, he moves swiftly through the air toward the mountain where the final beast waits, confident that he alone is enough to face it. He thinks the boss will be extremely strong, but it turns out to be at the same level as him. He uses his wind control skill and releases a stone-shattering wind that wraps around the monster like a tornado. The storm keeps growing stronger until it even slices the top of the mountain. Yuping is shocked that Modun can do something like this. Modun feels confident and believes he has already secured the points for this round. Suddenly, however, he senses a dangerous presence and tries to retreat. The bear suddenly leaps at him. When he sees that it is completely unharmed, his face turns pale. He tries to block it with a wind wall, but the bear smashes through it and sends him flying. He crashes into the ground badly injured. The bear follows him closely. Yuping curses him for being reckless and dragging the boss into the fight. The bear itself does not seem interested in attacking randomly, but the problem is that the armor-piercing claws they need are still on it. The situation becomes complicated. When the bear raises its claws again, Yuping remembers that only some elite beasts carry what he needs. He decides to search elsewhere. Another bear appears and attacks. When it strikes a tree, it leaves a deep mark, but then it is suddenly hit in the chest and collapses. The blow comes from Yuping, who uses a water-based attack. He checks the body carefully and finally finds the rare claw he needs. Even so, he realizes how difficult it is, since he has defeated many strong beasts just to obtain one. At that moment, he notices someone landing nearby. It is the girl he has seen earlier, and several claws are already hanging from her side. Seeing that she has collected more than him motivates him to keep going. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, Hei stands on a cliff. He sees Qianhui approach and tell him that she has already gathered 6 armor-piercing claws and offers to share if he needs them. He thanks her but says it is unnecessary. He then activates his advanced payment, and a powerful spear appears in his hand. A strong aura spreads around him as the weapon forms, showing just how powerful it is. At another place in the forest, 3 powerful streams of water shoot forward at the same time and strike the giant bear on its head, chest, and stomach. The bear crashes to the ground, and Yuping quickly rushes forward to collect the claws it drops. He feels relieved and excited because this gives him his 9th claw. Now he only needs one more to complete his task. He checks the ranking board and sees that Wang Ping is still in first place, followed by Zhang Jishi. Qianhui is not doing well at all. Yuping then notices that He, who everyone says is overpowering monsters easily, is not doing as well as expected. He assumes the rumors are exaggerated and feels more confident about his own chances. Just then, a system message appears saying that He has successfully created an armor-piercing spear. Yuping is shocked. Nearby, Qianhui is also surprised that someone can advance pay for such a powerful weapon. She admires how bold He is. He himself notices the wind element fighter from the Mo family and realizes that the technique can be useful. After checking that it is allowed, he decides to advance pay for the wind control skill as well. The system approves it immediately. His plan is simple. The score for this test depends on how much damage is dealt to the boss. He will weaken the beast first, then let Qianhui land the final blow so both of them can get top scores. She understands his plan and agrees. When everything is ready, He jumps down from the cliff. The height is great, but he lands steadily and spots the giant bear below. The beast senses danger and slams its paws together, creating a powerful shockwave. He feels the pressure but pushes forward. As he moves closer, he gathers strength in his legs and leaps forward with full force. His body glows as he descends. The bear tries to react, but the impact of his landing shakes the ground violently. Dust and debris explode everywhere. Without wasting time, He thrusts his spear forward. The attack tears through the smoke and slams into the beast's chest. The monster manages to block part of it with its claws, but the force still sends it staggering backward. Before it can recover, He activates his dark lightning technique. The energy surges through his weapon, striking the beast again with terrifying power. He uses his pole weapon to send power through the shaft and shocks the bear with strong energy. The beast screams as electricity runs through its body, but it is not over yet. He then uses wind control, stepping forward with a fast movement technique. He pushes the spear deeper, forcing the bear backward with overwhelming strength. The attack is extremely violent. Yuping watches from a distance and feels angry because the victory he wants is being taken away. At the same time, Modon slowly regains consciousness. When he opens his eyes, he sees chaos everywhere. Trees are broken, the ground is damaged, and the massive bear is being pushed back by someone he does not expect. He continues attacking without stopping. His spear moves so fast that it looks like a spinning storm. Each strike lands with terrifying force, cutting into the bear again and again. The power of his attacks is so strong that even a large tree behind the beast is sliced apart. After the final strike, the bear staggers but does not fall. It suddenly shrinks its body, making itself smaller to reduce damage. Yuping realizes the creature is trying to survive by becoming more agile. He watches carefully, curious to see how He will handle it. If He fails, he plans to step in and take the kill himself. But He does not hesitate. Even though the bear is smaller, it is still dangerous. When it tries to strike back, he blocks its claw with the shaft of his spear. The impact is strong, and the force travels through his arms. He notices that the bear has formed a hard layer of energy around its body, almost like armor. This explains why it has survived so long. Still, he can tell the defense is incomplete. The beast has focused on protecting certain areas, leaving others weaker. Understanding this, He steps back to gain space. The bear leaps toward him, trying to crush him. In response, he spins his spear and thrusts it forward with perfect timing. The bear tries to defend itself by forming a golden shield in front of its chest, but He activates a special skill. The spear glows as he uses a powerful piercing move. It goes straight through the defense and stabs into the bear's throat. Blood bursts out as the attack lands. The creature lets out a final sound before collapsing, completely defeated. The bear is thrown backward through several trees, and when He reaches it, he sees that it is pinned against the cliff by his spear. He can tell that its strength is almost gone, but not completely. There is still a little health left, just enough for someone else to finish it. He quickly calls out to Qianhui to come and finish the job. Before she can arrive, Modon rushes in from the side. He wants to steal the final strike for himself. He uses his wind control technique and releases a powerful wind blade. A loud sound echoes as the attack lands, and for a moment, it looks like he has succeeded. But when the dust clears, the bear is gone. It has been lifted into the air. Qianhui moves first and takes the beast upward. She then uses her wind control and unleashes a powerful demon-splitting attack, cutting the bear down completely. The monster falls lifelessly to the ground. Modon is furious. He shouts that the kill should have been his and complains that someone else has taken his credit. He believes that people like her do not deserve such achievements. He accuses her of stealing his chance while he is distracted. Hui calmly replies that he is the one who fails to act in time. Her calm answer makes him even angrier. He shouts that people like her, with no background or powerful family, do not deserve to stand beside him. He claims she has no right to such strength. As he speaks, Hui watches him closely and notices the ugly expression on his face. It reminds her of someone she hates. Without hesitation, she moves forward to strike. Before she can reach him, Hei stops her and reminds her not to kill anyone during the exam. Modun laughs loudly and mocks her, saying that someone like her can never defeat him. He activates a wind barrier in front of himself, confident that no one can break it. She rushes forward anyway and strikes the shield. To his shock, her attack passes straight through it. He stares in disbelief as she appears right in front of him. His eyes widen in fear. She calmly swings her blade and strikes him in the stomach. He flies backward and crashes into the trees behind him. Hei walks up to her afterward and admits that she has scared him. He honestly thinks she's about to kill the man, but he is relieved she holds back at the last moment. She knows that the exam supervisors are watching closely, so she understands that killing another participant would cause serious trouble. Still, she is satisfied because she has already memorized the execution technique she needs. After that, the mock exam officially ends. The final rankings are announced, with Hei taking first place, Hui coming in second, and Yuping taking third. Hui tells Hei that she has only collected 6 armor-piercing claws and is missing 4 more. Hei calmly tells her it is fine because he will handle it himself. Yuping then offers to give them his extra claws, smiling as he does so. Hei asks him if he is sure, since those materials are valuable for crafting weapons. Yuping replies that since Hei and Hui have already dominated the exam, he doesn't need them anymore. Besides, his family has plenty of resources, so giving them away means nothing to him. After that, he invites Hei to talk privately. Hei misunderstands and thinks he is being approached for something strange, so he jokingly tells him he isn't interested. At that moment, the system notifies him that all 10 armor-piercing bear claws have been collected and the requirement is complete. Soon after, they are approached by someone who praises their performance and says they are rare talents. He explains that whether someone studies in school or enters society, the ultimate goal is to join a powerful sect. Normally, sects do not recruit students directly, but this is a special opportunity. He reveals that he is the son of the leader of one of the major sects and that he is next in line to inherit it. He sincerely invites them to join. Hei replies honestly that they already belong to a sect. He explains that Hui is his disciple and that he is her master. The man looks disappointed, especially after giving such a passionate speech. He then asks what sect they belong to. At that moment, Hei freezes. He suddenly realizes he has never officially registered their sect. Hui looks at him, waiting for an answer. He breaks into a sweat, unable to respond. When the others realize what happens, Yuping bursts into loud laughter. Later that day, Hei goes to the sect administration office. Modun, who is still recovering from his injuries, sees him on the surveillance screen. The moment he recognizes Hei, his expression darkens with anger.
Moreover, he walks into the registration building and hears people talking about how smooth and easy the process is. When his turn comes, the staff tells him he is assigned to Gate 7. The clerk asks what he is there for, and Hei calmly says he wants to register a sect. The clerk looks surprised and asks for his name. When Hei gives his full name, the clerk's face turns pale. He then asks if Hei has a recommendation letter from a major sect. Hei says no. Next, the clerk asks if he has reached the Golden Core realm yet. Hei answers honestly that he is close but not there yet. Hearing this, the clerk shakes his head and says that means he does not qualify. Then he asks if Hei has a sect leader challenge certificate. Hei admits he has no idea what that is. The clerk explains that to register a sect, one must first enter a special trial, pass it, and obtain the certificate. Only then can registration happen. Hei argues that he needs to register first in order to take the test, but the clerk refuses and follows the rules strictly. Although the clerk looks calm, he is actually very nervous, especially since Hei is already a 10th layer cultivator. When Hei finally leaves, the clerk sighs in relief. Just then, someone speaks up behind him. It is Modun, who mocks Hei and says someone like him is nothing special. He claims that even though Hei is strong, he still loses sometimes. The clerk agrees to avoid trouble, even though he notices Modun is injured. Modun then proudly says he has changed the rules so Hei can never register. Since the office is under his family's control, he can make sure Hei fails. That night, Hei asks Hui about the requirements to break through to the next realm. She explains that he needs to be at the peak of the current realm and also obtain 2 rare herbs, the Blazing Flame Mushroom and the Chill Bone Herb. Both can only be found in dangerous secret realms. Hei searches and finds a special mission that includes both items, but it requires joining a team already registered for it. When he arrives, he learns the team needs a certified sect leader. The members doubt him at first, but when he calmly shows his official sect leader token, they are stunned into silence. Hei shows them his official sect token, and everyone goes quiet. No one expects a student like him to actually have one. He then shows the newly issued certification, which leaves them speechless. Soon after, Jen leads the group forward and opens a hidden passage in the cliff. A secret entrance appears, and they step inside. Hei realizes this place can only be accessed with a special method, proving it is a protected secret realm. Jen explains that sects treat these areas as priceless resources, which is why outsiders are rarely allowed inside. Hei asks if it is really that rare for a student to create a sect. Jen says it is extremely rare now, even though it used to be possible in the past. He explains that years ago, people could form sects at the condensation realm, but rules have changed. Now only those at the golden core realm or with strong backing can do so. He assumes Hei must have a powerful supporter to be allowed in. Hei only smiles and doesn't correct him. Soon, Chi-hong reminds them that their goal is to help her pass the sect leader trial. Jen confidently says they will help her succeed. Another member adds that with all of them together, it will be easy. Hei realizes then that they have included him on purpose to make things easier for themselves. He also remembers his own missions. He still needs to complete the advanced tasks for the Golden Core realm, including collecting rare items and finishing the wind technique. One task requires him to assist someone else, which now makes sense. Since Chi-hong also needs to train, he assigns her the mission. As they continue, Jin asks about the strength of the newcomer. One of them doubts Hei and thinks he is weak. Another claims he is only pretending and will not be a problem. They assume he is easy to use. Soon, they arrive at 3 different paths. Jen explains that this area changes every time and is called the Impermanence Ruin. It is designed to confuse challengers. He claims he already knows the layout and tells Hei which path to take, pretending to help. In truth, they plan to send him into danger. Hei listens calmly and walks forward without hesitation. As he leaves, they whisper that he will never make it back. Bing, Jen, and Chi-hong choose a different route from the one Hei takes. Chi-hong feels curious and asks how dangerous the path Hei selects might be. Jen replies that the difference is like night and day. He can sense that the path Hei takes is filled with extremely powerful presences, far stronger than anything they are facing. There are many fiends there, not just 1 or 2. Jen believes that Hei's sect leader token must have come from some special background, because only someone with strong backing would dare enter such a place. He also assumes that Hei has little real battle experience and probably has never faced danger like this before. In his mind, Hei is likely panicking right now. Meanwhile, Hei continues forward calmly until he suddenly senses danger. An arrow flies toward him, but he quickly swings his arm and knocks it aside. He follows the direction of the attack and uses his wind control technique, unleashing a powerful strike that shatters the rocks ahead. The blow reveals a hidden fiend whose body is split in 2. It is a shadow-type monster at the 5th level of the condensation realm. Hei is slightly impressed, as the creature has nearly gone unnoticed. Still, he feels confident because his senses have improved greatly after advancing. Moments later, he feels another presence. An arrow flies again. But he reacts instantly, sending a powerful gust toward the source. The wind slices through the air and cuts the attacker in half. For a brief moment, everything becomes quiet. Then another presence appears close to him. A fiend emerges from the ground, trying to slash his legs. Hei quickly reacts, blocking the attack and striking back. His spear pierces the creature and shatters it into pieces. He senses another enemy nearby and swings his weapon in a wide arc. The spear spins around him like a whirlwind, cutting through the air. Several hidden fiends are caught in the attack, their bodies falling apart instantly. As the dust settles, the forest grows silent again. Hei stands calmly, having defeated every enemy that tries to ambush him. The path ahead is now clear. He realizes that the danger in this place is far greater than before, but his strength has grown enough to handle it. The deeper he goes, the more confident he becomes that he can face whatever awaits him next. The creatures are completely destroyed, their bodies breaking apart into small pieces that are blown away by the wind. Just then, something attacks from behind. Hei quickly turns and spins his spear, blocking the incoming arrows. He is starting to get annoyed because the enemies keep hiding and attacking from a distance instead of fighting properly. Feeling irritated, he releases a powerful move that slams into the ground. The impact causes a strong wind to rise, forming a swirling storm that covers a wide area. Even though the wind looks terrifying, it does not actually harm the enemies much. The shadow creatures quickly realize this and become less cautious. They think the attack is only for show. However, Hei has done it on purpose. The wind helps reveal their hiding places. When they realize what has happened, it is already too late. He appears behind them in an instant. As they react in shock, he attacks. One of the creatures tries to shoot an arrow, but Hei strikes first and crushes it completely. Other fiends fire their arrows, but he spins his spear and deflects them all with ease. While he fights, something else watches him from far away. A strange creature shaped like a thin shadow watches everything carefully. This creature is being controlled by someone else. That person is Chi-hong. He watches closely and asks if the boy is still alive. His original plan is to use him as bait to test what kind of enemies are hidden in that area. The idea is to let the monsters reveal themselves so they can prepare later. However, things are not going as expected. The boy is not struggling at all. Instead, he is handling everything easily. Chi-hong realizes that he has underestimated him. He then tells Bing that they need to change their plan. Instead of fighting the monsters themselves, they will use the chaos to their advantage. Bing understands and immediately acts. He summons his weapon and throws it toward a distant area. The weapon strikes something powerful, and flames burst out violently. The loud explosion echoes through the forest and draws attention. The sound is so loud that even Hei notices it. He understands that someone else is interfering and watching him from afar. The fiends around him become restless, sensing danger from all directions. Meanwhile, the person watching from afar smiles. Everything is going according to plan. They have used Hei to test the strength of the enemies and gather information without exposing themselves. As the dust settles and the noise echoes across the forest, the tension grows even stronger. The real battle is far from over, and the true danger has only just begun. The fight between Hei and the fiend continues, and none of them seem to get the better of the other. All of a sudden, the fiend attacks Hei on the neck, making him realize how he could have easily died if he wasn't so fast. Moreover, Hei also realizes that this is no normal mook that he is fighting. So, Hei proceeds to summon the protective barrier. He then begins to summon huge punches out of thin air. But, the fiend efficiently dodges them. Hei continues, and summons a humongous arm to capture the fiend, but it goes on to dodge anything that's thrown at him. At the same time, the fiend is also making some ringing sound that's making Hei frustrated. He angrily tells the fiend to stop doing that, but it continues anyways. Shortly after, the Hei summons the dark nether lightning. As the fiend is making its way closer to Hei, he hits it up with the lightning. As the lightning makes an impact, huge blasts go off. Among the dissipating smoke appears the fiend, who seems to be untouched. It appears that the fiend has successfully and quite efficiently dodged Hei's attack. As for Hei, he is in shock to see that this fiend was able to dodge his nether lightning attack, making him realize that this is the fastest fiend he has ever come across. Meanwhile, the fiend isn't all that confident in its skills either. He has realized that Hei's defense is too strong for it to get through him. None of the fiend's normal attacks are affecting Hei's shield in any way thus far. Soon, the fiend gets an idea. He thinks that if he cannot falter the shield from outside, then he will try to attack from the ground area. He then makes a slash onto the ground. The ground beneath Hei begins to crack slowly as he is shown to be confused with what's going on. Not long after, a blade appears from within the ground, slashes upward, slicing through Hei, separating him perfectly in half. Seeing this, the fiend is happy to see that its plan worked. However, what the fiend didn't realize was this was Hei's plan all along. As seconds pass, Hei's body turns into a stone statue as it crumbles and shatters into pieces after getting hit with the fiend's attack. Now, the fiend is worried about Hei's next move after finding out that this was a trap. Just then, the real Hei arrives in a flash, catching the fiend off guard. Moreover, Hei suddenly summons some sort of an aura circle around himself and the fiend, prompting it to realize that it was Hei's plan to lure it inside this circle. However, the fiend thinks that it would be difficult for Hei to fight it since it has a spear. In response, Hei confidently remarks that he doesn't need a weapon to fight him. After saying this, Hei summons the 10,000 refined steel and stone skin technique. The two then begin to charge toward each other, while the fiend warns Hei not to break the circle if he starts to lose the fight. As the two collide, the fiend manages to slash its sword toward Hei, but he blocks it using his recently summoned techniques. Then, Hei proceeds to counterattack but gets blocked by the fiend. This continues for some time and eventually, Hei manages to land a brutal strike on the fiend, leading it to go invisible. Hei realizes what's happening, so he asks the fiend if it wants him to break the circle so it can escape. Meanwhile, the fiend is trying its best to hold its anger back, so it won't be succumbed to Hei's allure. The fiend wishes that it could slice Hei into pieces right here and now, but he refrains from falling for his taunts. Hei now realizes that he has to do something about this, so he summons the energy ball and begins to drop it to the ground. The fiend thinks that surely Hei won't drop such a high impactful energy blast into such a confined space, but He begin unhinged as he proceeds to place the energy ball onto the ground. The fiend screams if this wouldn't hurt He as well as the blast goes off. It is indeed very powerful, so much so that the fiend cannot even go invisible anymore. However, it thinks that He would have been severely injured as well. This delusion is proven wrong when He appears unbothered and unharmed, catching the fiend by its hair, telling it not to escape now. The fiend is absolutely shocked as to why He is totally fine. Meanwhile, He sits atop the fiend as he proceeds to charge a brute punch towards it. A flashback scene is shown where we learn how He was able to come out of the blast unharmed. Turns out that just when the blast was about to go off, He actually summoned his stone shield technique, and that's what protected him from any injuries. Just then, He begins to feel a certain feeling in his stomach as aura surrounds that area, giving him HP and healing him, making him realize that the Dragon King is doing its work again. As for the fiend, it is still shocked as to how He was able to survive that blast impact and come out unharmed. He then proceeds to grab the fiend by its hair and punch it away into a distance. Just then, a fire-breathing monster appears from behind the fiend and begins to breathe fire onto it, rendering it to burn to death. Meanwhile, He watches this while peeking, wondering why the fire-breathing boss monster is here. Basically, this monster belongs to in the harder level tunnel, and there is no way that it would end up here, which is what confused He. Just then, He gets attacked from behind with ice crystals as they begin to freeze the wall right in front of him. He then turns around and is shocked to see that another monster has arrived. This second monster is the Frost Boss Fiend. He immediately uses his divine sense to figure out what's going on. After using that, He discovers that it was Jen, Bing, and Ki-hong who have started to mess with him. As for the current scenario, He doesn't waste much time and begins to charge toward the Frost Boss Fiend. Seeing this, the female fiend is surprised and in awe to see that He is taking the Frost Boss head-on. As he rushed forward, the Frost Boss Fiend throws an ice attack toward He. He ends up dodging it carefully, so accurately that the attack goes on to land on the Fire Boss Fiend, trapping it in an ice crystal. The female fiend is impressed to realize that He used Ice Fiend to trap the Fire Fiend. The Fire Fiend then tries to break free from the crystal, breathing fire into it. Although his attack frees him from the ice crystal, but its attack goes on to hit the Ice Fiend. The plan is clear, and the female fiend is disappointed by how the two boss fiends are acting. Seeing that they are both distracted, He charges instantly, hitting both the fiends on their faces and keeping his distance toward the end. From afar, he shows them the middle finger, asking them to come get him. Being how dumb they are, the fiends fall into He's trap and begin attacking him, one after the other. As for he continues to dodge each of their attacks and finds success in maintaining distance between himself and the fiends. It is now clear that He has a plan set in motion. Meanwhile, the trio is making their way through the cave. That is when Chi-hong realizes that the sound of the battle is coming nearer and nearer to them. It doesn't take long before Jen realizes that He is trying to lure the battle towards them. However, he doesn't understand if He thinks they can't just dodge the fiend's attack. But what worries Jen more is that He was able to take on 3 boss fiends, and is now even trying to pull a reverse lure. He is sure that no ordinary skill user can pull this off, and he didn't even expect for a guy with connections to be this skillful. Jen then hurries and suggests Chi-hong that they should move, and if need be, then they will try to retreat to the secret realm entrance. However, as soon as he tries to move, Jen is trapped into a formation. Thereafter, a strong blast is sent toward the two. However, Jen acts quickly and jumps toward safety. As for Chi-hong, she doesn't prove to be quick as she gets hit with the blast. The impact is quite powerful and it lands a great deal of damage onto Chi-hong, so much so that she can't get off the ground. She begins to cry for help for Jen to heal her, but he simply worries about something else at that moment. He begins wondering when the trap barrier was set up. Just then, he hears a voice. Responding to his question, the voice says that the barrier was set up when Jen was acting all benevolent. As Jin looks behind, he says that it's none other than He. With aura surrounding his body, He asks Jen if he really thought he would trust him completely. Jen gets angry at He for playing games with him as he proceeds to attack him. However, He uses a flashbang technique, jumps out of the way, and then uses the stealth skill, rendering himself hidden from eyes of the fiends and monster. In the meantime, the fire-breathing fiend makes its way and sees Jen standing right in front of him. As the fiend looks at Jen with fierce eyes, the latter knows that he is cooked. As the fight continues, Chi-hong is still on the ground, begging for Jen to help her. At the same time, half of the area is filled with fire and the other half is filled with ice as both the fiends try to kill Jen. However, Jen is proving to be a very good fighter as well as he continuously dodges their attacks. At one point, Jen finds himself being sandwiched between both the fiends. The worst part is that they both charge an attack toward him simultaneously. To overcome this, Jin summons the Shield of Light, raises both his hands toward the oncoming attacks and manages to defend himself. He then looks behind at Bing, asking him if he is going to just stand there and watch Jin fight both the mushroom boss fiends all by himself. However, Bing is shown to be struck with something as well. Soon, it is revealed that Hei has attacked Bing, driving a spear through his back, piercing his chest. In his final moments, Bing thinks how Hei would even know about his position since he is a very high-level cultivator. Seeing Hei pull this off surprised, and somewhat scared Jen as well. Meanwhile, the female fiend is resting her back with the wall of the cave, carefully analyzing the fight. She thinks about how stealth has been her life's work and her ultimate technique. However, when she fought Hei earlier, he was able to learn her ultimate technique in just a single glance. Not even that, he was able to pull the stealth technique so efficiently that it almost seems impossible. Right in front of the fiend is a barrier to the battlefield though, as she wonders if she should head in or not. Inside the barrier, the fight continues as the entire area is engulfed with ice and fire. The ice fiend launches an attack towards Zen. He manages to defend it, but without even sparing a second, he gets attacked by the fire fiend from the other side. Jen turns out to be a quick thinker as he immediately summons the Great Flame technique. This deflects the ice fiend's attack onto the barrier that was created by the ice fiend, causing the barrier to shatter. With a smirk, Jen realizes that he has still got it and that he too knows how to use enemies' strength against them too. Jen then begins to laugh hysterically, calling out Hei, telling him that he can't hide for too long.
Moreover, he warns Hei that he will gather experts from his sect once he gets out and that Hei's sect will be dead meat. As he says this, the female fiend appears out of nowhere and slashes Jen's neck area. Blood begins gushing out from there as Jen tries to make sense of what's going on. He asks the fiend why she is taking the side of a cultivator. The fiend simply replies, "Who knows?" as Jen dies after succumbing to his injury. Thereafter, the ice and the fire fiend come out again, ready to fight with the female fiend. However, she proves to be the strongest among them as she immediately drives her sword through the fire fiend first and then the ice fiend. After slaying both of them, the female fiend walks in a menacing manner as if she is some final boss. She then acts unexpectedly as she kneels and asks Hei, calling him Cultivator, to take her into his sect and make her his disciple. Hearing this, Hei comes out of his steal mode, standing right in front of the fiend, asking her why she changes her mind all of a sudden. The fiend explains that she is sure if the fire fiend hadn't interrupted, Hei would have killed her in an instant. She also explains how she noticed that Hei is different from other cultivators and how he was able to learn her ultimate technique in just a glance, and then use it with so much efficiency. The fiend further says that out of all the past sect leader challengers that she had come across, Hei was the youngest and the best among them. Thereafter, to prove her loyalty, the fiend presents the cores of both Ice and Fire Fiend to Hei. However, Hei is dissatisfied with the offer and tells the fiend that she should offer her core if she really wants to prove her loyalty. At the same time, Hei is secretly holding a blade if things are to go south, but the fiend does the unexpected and hands over her core to Hei. Now the only pending mission for Hei is to get a recommendation letter from a major sect.